All right, everybody, welcome back to the Sideshow. My name is Mingo.
This is Tony.
And, of course, Sebastian is building a castle. Bro, I know you have a lot of stuff to talk about, but I want to tell you about something that I just did today.
Today?
Yeah, today.
You've
just
had
like
2 weeks
but
of stuff to do.
I had to wait.
Okay.
So last week I went to the first appointment. So what happened was, remember I told you about a year ago I was having issues with my knee. Like I was at 4th of July and I stood up kind of funny and that I felt like I hyperextended my right knee. Right. So I've been having nothing but issues with it. And when I was in Texas, I'm walking around everywhere with a cane. Like I wasn't stable. Like it wasn't comfortable. My legs would hurt. Like I get up in the morning and the numbness on my side would be gone. But as soon like I could walk from my bedroom to the bathroom like anybody's house, and my side would already start to be going numb, like my leg, right? So they cut your knee, they cut your leg, your skin, probably a good 6 to 8 inches above your knee, all the way through your knee and down. They peel it open. Yeah, and then they put in all this metal shit and they shave and they create you a new knee. Right?
Yeah, knee replacement is like a big thing. So
I was like, yeah, I don't want to fucking do that. I'm not even fucking 52 yet. And I was like, I'd been hearing about stem cell surgery. And apparently there's a guy down in Mexico that'll do it and blah, blah, blah. And it's almost like a resort, I guess, where you go to and they do it there. Well, I found a place in India that does stem cell surgery or stem cell replacement, basically. And it's called Physical Medicine, Alternative Regenerative Medicine, the Desert Physical Medicine. The contact number there is 760-863-5955, okay? So what they do is they use something called Wharton's jelly. And what it is they take, like if a woman was getting ready to have like a C-section, right? And they plan the date that they're going to have it. They have people that go out and they talk to these women and see if they either want to donate the umbilical cord or if they want to sell it. So then what they do is they take this umbilical cord and they take out all of the stem cells. They take out all the stuff that you need to regenerate, and so it's an anti-inflammatory. It'll regenerate your bone or your muscle and all that kind of stuff.
Well, if I remember, I think we might have even done it. Don't you keep it? Like, don't they say to keep it in case something's wrong with your child? It'll help.
You can. They started doing that about the time Milo was born. And I was like, nah, because in 6 months I'm going to get my shit snipped anyway, so I'm good. You know what I mean? I went, and so you go in and they do the consultation. And they tell you walk in and you walk out. It's 3 shots in your knee.
Ouch.
And no ouch at all, bro.
Dude, your knee's bone. Where are they going?
I was having a little bit of I don't know if I want to fucking go. Like, I'm going to have three like, because I was all hyped about it. And then today, because the appointment was late, I was like, fuck, do I really want to go and have needles jammed in my knee? Because my sister used to have water in the knee, and she would have to go and have the water taken out with a knee, or they go with a needle. So they would jam this big old long needle into her knee and pull the water out. And I just remember about her telling us about how painful it was. So anyways, I'm at the consultation, I'm laying down, and they take x-rays of the knee, right? And he says, okay. He said, so the bone that comes up from your ankle and where the other bone sits on top should be almost flat. Well, mine had like little divots in it like spoons.
When you say at your ankle?
The bone that comes up from the ankle like and attaches where the knee, where the knees connect.
Okay.
So those 2 bones should be the one coming up from your ankle should be almost flat. Well, mine wasn't. Mine had divots in it from where, but it wasn't bone on bone yet. It was just that it was weak because of just wear and tear and carrying couches up and downstairs by myself and doing all that kind of bullshit. So, and then he said, yeah, it looks like you're a good candidate for it. Should help you out. And then he put his hand, like, if you, like, let's say you were grabbing a burrito. That's probably a really bad picture. But he put his hand over my knee, like cupping it, right? And his thumb was on the outside of my right knee, and his fingers were on the inside of my leg, right?
Yeah, isn't that like when you used to try and make somebody laugh real hard?
Yeah. So he squeezed it, and when he did, dude, I about jumped out that fucking bed, bro. That shit hurt so bad. He says, "Oh," he says, "Yeah." He says, "That's now look." He says, and then he showed me on the X-ray. He said, "You see these little black marks right here?" Yeah. He says, "Those are tears. Those are where it's beginning to disintegrate." So my tendons on the outside of my knee were weak and starting to lose their strength as well. That's why it wasn't stable on my leg. So, all right, cool. He said, so what we're going to do is you're a good candidate for it. We'll get you set up. He said, we're going to send you to get an MRI that we know exactly where to do the injections, and there'll be 3, 2 on the outer side of the knee and 1 in the middle. And I was like, in the knee? He's like, yeah. He says, you won't even know he's done. He said, you won't even know that he's done anything. Trust me. It's like, all right. So I went and I had the MRI done. They called me, okay, we got it. Blah, 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 blah. And then I had to go back today at 6:45 to have it done. So I go in. Bro, it took me right back. 6:40, I was in the back waiting. 6:45, they took me into the room to go have it done. Laid me down on the table. All right, put your knee up a little bit, blah, blah, blah. Lady said, all right, I'm gonna clean your leg real quick, your knee. So she cleaned it all off. The doctor came in. Hey, how's it going? Good. Blah, blah, blah. He sprayed some stuff on my leg.
Numbing?
It felt like he sprayed it, but it also felt like he just kind of threw a cloth over it because I couldn't see it. So then he said, all right, you're going to feel a little pinch, and I'm going to do some numbing, and then we'll go right into the injection. Bro, he put, and when he said that, like, you could feel like the needle touched your skin, but it didn't hurt. Like, you couldn't feel that he went in, and so he did it a couple times and put in the injections for the numbing pain, for the numbing shit, and then he grabbed the other one and said, all right, so now I'm going to go ahead and start putting in the jelly. And he did the first one between the knee, right? Bro, this has to be what a woman feels like. When she's having sex and the dude just shoots his load in there because you got this needle in there, right? You got this little prick in you, right? And then all of a sudden you feel all this warm goo filling up your cavity, right? And so like he puts that in and he's squeezing and he's putting in the jelly, and I could feel my leg, I could feel those joints pulling apart because he's putting so much in there, right? And it was such a weird fucking feeling because he just puts it, all right, cool, and then he around the other side did that, all right, around the other side, man, put some band-aids on it, helped me sit up, said, all right, man, you're good to go. It's like, holy shit, really? So yeah, I said, I didn't even really know that, other than when I felt my bone coming apart, I didn't really knew that you were already done.
So does your knee feel like fat?
Yeah, I feel, yeah.
Swollen, I should say?
Well, if it felt swollen when I got there because I'd been walking around all day, right? But it feels like, it does. It feels like it's like a I would say like what a balloon would feel like when you fill it up too much. You know what I mean? Like it feels tight.
Okay.
But not in a painful way, if that makes sense. And when I walked out, that was like I was able to walk correctly. What I mean by that is be able to bend my knee and walk like normal instead of like take a step and then swing your leg around. You know what I mean? Fucking walking around like Barbosa on Pirates of the Caribbean and shit. In my peg leg. But if that's something that you're interested in doing, man, please give these guys a call. It was a great experience so far. I go back next Friday for they do this stuff called it's kind of some sort of sonic wave stuff. So it's kind of like that machine that Bruce Lee used to use on his stomach to build the muscle.
To impersonate sit-ups.
Yeah. So it's kind of that. I think that's what it is, and they put it on your knee, and it basically massages that stuff in and makes sure that it's growing and doing what it's supposed to be doing in there. I have four of those, and then so next Friday. Not the 22nd, the 29th I go in for the wave thing, and then the week after that, right? Yeah, the week after that I go in for my other appointment. So we're on fire, brother.
So is this something that you have to do on a regular basis, or is it like a one and done?
It should be a one and done. He said most people with one injection. One-time injection, whether it's in 3 parts or not, one-time injection should do it. He said, but sometimes there are people that need a second one. He said, so if we need to do that, we can do that as well.
And what is the expected outcome? You're just not going to be in pain anymore?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, and that should last for about 18 years.
No shit.
Yeah. That's why I did it, dude. I figured, well, fuck, if I can do that and not have to go under the knife and do major surgery, I'll do it all day long. So
wow.
So we'll see. Hopefully that'll it does what it's supposed to do. If it feels as good as it did today, tomorrow, or throughout the week, that'll be a really good sign.
That's cool.
Yeah. So hopefully that, man, I was getting so tired of just walking around and not being steady or being able to walk around and do shit for a couple hours. And then done. Like,
what other parts of the body could this be used for?
The back, the neck. I had somebody that was there that was doing their elbows. Your knee. What else did they say? I don't think it's on this one that I have. It's in the brochure that's in the house. But
so you're saying if you have regular back pain?
Correct.
Wow.
So like I have lower back pain, and I have problems with that because of stuff that I did back in the day that screwed my back up, and I could put it in there too, and it should help, and it rebuilds all the tissue between the bones.
Really?
Yeah. So I mean, like non-surgical spinal decompression. So if you have like a compressed spine, you can go in there and get this shit shot between the muscles, and it'll come back out and rebuild that tissue that goes between them.
Huh.
Yeah, it's a trip, dude. And the machine he uses, so he'll go in and do, they go in and they do the MRI, and with the pictures of the MRI, he's got this machine in the office that he pulls over when he goes to do the injections, and it points to where the needles should go and tells you, I think is the way it works, and tells you based off of the MRI where exactly the needles go. They said it's like a 95% chance of recovery, to where if you did full surgery, it's only 50%. So again, another reason all day long, why wouldn't you try that? You know what I mean?
And what made you look for something like this?
I've been hearing about stem cell surgery, and
I would have never thought of this.
Really? Well, I had been. I knew that they were messing around with this kind of shit. I always thought, like everybody else, they're making babies or they're growing sheep, right? That was always the thing that they were doing with stem cells, was growing animals and shit, right? But as much as I hate to admit it, I was listening to Joe Rogan, and he was talking about it, and there was a fighter that was on there, and I think it was actually Joe Rogan that said he had blown out his shoulder, and his rotator cuff and all that shit was torn in there. So he had gone to Mexico and had it done, and he said that he's totally healed, and that he can move all of his arm and everything around with the stem cell treatment. What's his name? Mike Tyson did that before his last fight. So I started hearing about it, and then this actually came up on Instagram. They had a little commercial for it on Instagram, and so I went and I looked at it, So then I started reading more about it and blah, blah, blah. So that's why I called him to find out. All right, well, the least I could do is at least go and see what it's like.
Right.
You know what I mean? And figure out, okay, so is this really something that can help me, or is it, bullshit voodoo magic? You know what I mean? Like, but it's not, because there's other ones that they can do where they do like, they do it through your bone marrow. And what they do is they basically cut a hole in your skin and they drill into your hip bone and pull out your marrow through there. And apparently they can't give you any anesthetic or anything like that because it'll fuck with the stem cells. It'll fuck with the marrow. So they don't give you any kind of pain meds when they draw out the marrow. So they offer that there too. He says we would much rather do this because this makes more sense. It's less pain. So I went there because I thought about the same, because they said that, with your, and I know I'm talking out of my ass right now, so I'm not completely sure exactly what I'm talking about, but the way I understood it was that they draw your bone marrow out and they make platelets out of it that has your stem cells, and with that they can create and take out all the main ingredients that they need to re-inject it back in you to have that growth and the repair that you're looking for. And I guess that's what's different with Wharton's too, because like, let's say you had your knee replaced and you did the metal, your body could reject the metal. And like for me, like I'm allergic to nickel.
Right.
And certain metals, so I couldn't have that put in my knee because my body might reject it. I'd go into fucking anaphylactic shock and die. So they have a much better rate. Nobody's ever that they know of has ever rejected the stem cells, the umbilical cord stem cells, nor has anybody had any kind of negative reaction to it. Which is, that's phenomenal, because when you get blood, you go, oh, well, what type blood, what type this, right, what type that, or you're trying to get somebody's body part. Okay, well, what's this, what's that? We'll got to see if it's a match. And then still, you might be a match and it could still reject it. This doesn't do that. So hopefully it turns out to be as much of a miracle and healing as it feels like it's going to be. You know what I mean? But only time will tell.
Right.
So if you come back next week and my leg looks like a mushroom, please feel free to tell me something.
I'm going to come back next week. You're going to be breakdancing for me.
Yeah, I tell you what, I look forward just to being able to walk and walk for a while. You know what I mean? Without hurting. I'll be good with that.
Can you recall the last time that it actually happened for you?
That I was able to walk without any kind of...
without even having to think about... because obviously I walk. I don't think about pain when I'm walking.
Right.
It's not something that I think about.
Well, it was probably before 2014. 2014 was a year that I hurt myself that I got hurt unloading a truck at Aaron's. And that's when I caught the bone between my two fingers, or caught the chairs, a box of chairs between my two fingers. And I broke that bone there. And then they had to move the nerve from my elbow, out from under my elbow and onto the side. But what happened was, when I caught it, I didn't just throw the chairs down. I sat them down while I'm holding a dryer. I'm holding a dryer, and I caught them between my fingers, and I leaned over, and so I stretched out all my back and put strain on that. So it's just been stupid things that I did over the years that, kind of jacked me up. There for a while there, before that actually happened, I would walk and my back would lock up. And not like it would be so much, like the pain would be so bad that it would bend me over. And I couldn't straighten myself out.
Right.
And all you could do is just fucking put a heating pad on and lay down and take it off and then put ice on. And do that for a day and a half until your body unknots, and then you're good to go.
Because sometimes if I'm watching TV so long in the same position in the chair, like I know when I'm getting up, I have to take it slow. Because I'll feel a pinch. So it's one of those things that, like I said, in regards to walking, I've never thought about it. But in regards to getting up,
Yeah.
I it's in the back of my head. Oh, okay, slow down. Let's not.
Well, I mean, well, you see, normally after when we record, we've been sitting down for a couple of hours. So when I go to stand up, I make sure everything's all right, everything's in the right position. Take a deep breath and push off. So I'm hoping that this will help alleviate that too. Like I just gotta make my lower body feel normal. Gonna go see a doctor this week too. Get some high blood pressure medicine going and get that shit squared away.
High blood pressure. You under stress?
That's all I'm under, fool. Have you not met my son? Shit. Love that kid to death, but he gonna be the death of me, Tony. But yeah, man. I want to be able to go to Hawaii next year and not have to walk with a cane. I want to go see some shit. I want to be able to go hike Waka Laka Hula.
Did you mention this before? Because I'm not remembering it. Hawaii. You going to Hawaii?
No. I think this is the first time I just kind of decided that I'm going to go. I'm going to start putting some pennies away to try to get to go to Hawaii.
Nice.
Ever since I went to that thing in Phoenix, I got, like 10, 15 people that I know out in Hawaii.
Wow,
so
okay.
Go out and have a little dinner or whatever when I'm there with all those people. That'd be kind of cool. Yeah, man, just, trying to get right so that I could be right, you know what I mean? Been too long. I've been fucking around too much. Losing too much time. Mr. Traveler, I'm sitting here in pain looking at your pictures like, fuck, that'd be dope. But then I started thinking about it and I was like, I'm going to be 52 on Friday. Tony's already 52. And that motherfucker doing the old man grandpa fucking tour right now.
What's the old man grandpa tour?
Alaska. That's always that's like the retirement. I made it. I know there's not much more left, but I gotta go to Alaska.
It's kind of funny you say that. Because we were around the majority average age there. No, let me rephrase. We were kind of on the younger side.
Right.
There were a few people younger than us. Very few. But mostly everybody was in their 60s, 70s, 80s.
Right?
Yeah.
It was a senior trip. And you were like a sophomore. So let me ask you a question, though. On the real, I'm not talking shit. I want to make sure that we all understand. The people that were there that were younger than you,
okay,
were they staff or were they there on the trip?
Well, there were some families there, like 30-year-olds with their kids, young kids.
Really?
Yeah, that was a bit much. It wasn't a lot of kids, but there was a certain family that had 3 or 4 kids. And they seem to be everywhere.
Really?
You seem to see these same kids everywhere. Maybe because they were somewhat rambunctious, but they were alone, meaning their parents weren't with them.
No, their parents were in the room knocking it out.
Or having lunch. Let me put it this way, to the point to where my brother was in the elevator with them. And my brother said, "Where are your parents?"
Oh,
They're
wow.
like, "Oh, they're having lunch."
Wow.
And my brother's like, "Man, these kids are young to be running around by
they're on a
themselves."
boat.
Yeah, you don't want them to jump over, though.
You lose one, you lose one. Because look, let's be honest. Were they American?
Yeah.
If you lose one kid because he jumps overboard, you're going to own the boat. You're going to own the company. Why'd you let my kid? Why wasn't there somebody to keep my kid from jumping overboard? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just saying. So now you've sent pictures of some of the boats that you've been on, some of the ships. Was this one just as lavish? And when you're going to Alaska, do you have pools on those boats too?
Yeah. There was actually 2 pools, an indoor pool and an outdoor pool. The outdoor pool was not used. It was barely used, I should say.
Is it heated though?
Yeah.
Had to have been, right?
Yeah. And they have 2 spas. But it was just too cold out there. Sometimes it'd be, I wouldn't say half the time, but it would rain a lot. It's different than the weekend cruises we usually take.
Okay.
Because it's hot. People out there partying, drinking, hanging out.
Did you feel the effect of being on a boat for 7 days?
No.
No?
No.
Because it's so big and there's so much shit to do.
So big, and of the 7 days, we were at port 3, maybe 4 of the days.
Okay.
So it's really only 3 days on the boat, 4 days on land.
Okay.
We stopped at Juneau, Victoria, Canada,
Okay.
Juneau, Alaska, and 2 other spots in Alaska. Sasquatch or something like that, and Kazaquan. Yeah.
You ain't saying those right?
I don't think so, but once I get into my notes, I'll pronounce them right. So there was 4 stops that we made.
Okay. Which one was the prettiest?
Canada.
I knew you were gonna fucking say that.
Canada, there's a story behind it, but Canada was off the hook. The weather was great. Have you ever been downtown Santa Monica where they block off the street for the shopping? There's a downtown Santa Monica near the pier. There's like a street, let's say like Palm Canyon, but it's blocked off.
Oh, okay.
So you walk on it.
Okay.
And then when you get to a block, if I remember right, I haven't been there in years, there's still cross traffic. So you got to be careful with that. But then once you get to the next block, you continue
Same
on.
thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like that. It was blocked off like that. It was real nice.
That's kind of dope.
Yeah.
So is that all you did in Canada was go to that one fair street?
Because that was an odd one. We didn't port until 6 o'clock at night.
So you guys boarded in Seattle, right? Is that correct?
We boarded in Seattle, yes.
Okay, so how was Seattle?
We were only there not even a full day, but we got there in the afternoon.
Okay.
And left the next morning.
Did you go directly for coffee, or was it later in the day? Because that's like Starbucks headquarters, right? So.
No, we went to the downtown area.
Okay.
Where the fish market is.
Oh, okay.
So we grabbed lunch there, and we were at that area where in movies where they throw fish at each other. So that shit is a trip.
So if you've never been or don't know what he's talking about, there's a place in Seattle. It's basically Fisherman's Wharf, right?
Yeah.
So you go down there, and you can go and buy your fresh fish that's not being taken to market or being sold at restaurants, and you could buy directly from the fishermen themselves. And they have this thing where they throw the fish around at each other until somebody buys it or some shit, right? I don't know.
Well, they toss it to each other at least twice. I think when somebody wants to buy something, like one guy will pick it out because it's almost like a wall of ice in front of the counter.
Okay.
So there's one guy in front of a couple of guys in front of the counter and a couple of guys behind the counter. So what I think it is, if somebody picks out what they want, the guy, because it's all embedded in the wall of ice.
Okay.
And so the guy pulls it out and throws it to the guy behind the counter, and then he actually throws it back. And then the original guy throws it back, and the guy behind the counter is like wrapping it up.
So what happens if, like, say you were there and you picked a fish, and he threw your fish to the guy in the back, and the asshole drops it? Do they just rinse off your fish and wrap it up anyway?
I have no idea, but that's an art.
I was gonna say, I wonder how many fish they drop in a day.
Good question.
Or how many times they because they got to yell before they throw it, right? Just to make sure that you're paying attention.
Well, it's like a show when you're doing it.
Oh, okay.
So they're
expecting.
It's choreographed, if you will.
Okay.
So because everybody's watching, everybody's filming. So, it's customers, I should say.
How big was the fish? Did they bite? What happens if they bought like a small fucking sardine? That would be fucking hilarious. Hey, go ahead, toss that fucking thing back there. So I tell you guys didn't buy any fish or anything because you didn't work?
No.
Okay.
And the one thing they were saying is we ship anywhere. Buy it from us. We'll ship it to your house overnight, so you can have the freshest fish. But in this area, there's a couple of vendors that sell fish.
Okay.
That's just the most popular. They got the nice corner spot. You know, and there's restaurants there as well. So we wound up eating at one of the restaurants.
So let me ask you a question, because that's got to be a great idea. Let's say you're there and you buy your fish from the tossers, right? Let's call them the tossers. And can you take your fish to a restaurant and have them?
I doubt it. Yeah, I don't think so.
Yeah, I guess they couldn't be responsible if you got some
Yeah.
sort of sickness or something from it, right? Interesting.
So, but we did in that general Fisherman's Wharf area find the first Starbucks.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. And we were just walking, and there's a big old line outside of this old store. Long line. And it's at Starbucks. But it's not what you're used to seeing. Like the green ring
Right.
with the woman in the middle. This was, it says Starbucks, but it said like coffee, tea, and something else. So it was more like a coffee tea house. I guess the coffee it wasn't their primary
Their
sales.
forte.
But it was tiny, and they had a guy out front. When somebody would walk out, they'd let the next person in, type deal.
Wow.
Yeah, people were trying to take pictures, and they would try to take pictures of the inside, and the guy would let you take one picture. And somebody actually was like, "Can I go in, closer to get some more pictures?" He was like, "No, because all these people in line will think I'm letting you in, and we're not trying to have it. So you're one picture, you're good, get out."
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, that's cool though. At least they, I guess they got to keep it legit, right? They got to keep it moving.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Where we stayed at a hotel downtown, and when we got back, we went to dinner. I think this is the point where we went to dinner, and we were crossing the street, the four of us. This was my brother, my sister-in-law, my wife, and I.
Okay.
And I was just looking around, the buildings and what. I wasn't paying attention to us per se. So all of a sudden, I hear somebody scream, "Fuck you!" And I look, and there was like a homeless woman 7 to 10 feet away from my old lady,
Okay.
telling my old lady, "Fuck you, fuck you." And I'm thinking to myself, what the hell did you do to her? You know what I'm saying?
Fuck.
And my wife's like looking, she's like, I didn't do nothing to her. And she was just crazy, and she was yelling "fuck you" on the way down the sidewalk.
My question: why'd you blame your wife right away?
Because, like I said, why else would somebody at the top of their lungs start screaming at you?
Oh, that's fucking hilarious. So Seattle's kind of rough, huh?
Well, okay, we went to dinner. We went to like a little pizza spot, like a artisan pizza.
Right.
It was pretty good. As a treat, some mornings, I drink coffee with a coffee cake.
Okay.
Hostess coffee cake. That's my shit. Cinnamon cake.
Right.
So my wife didn't pack me any for the cruise, right? Because I got a pantry full of them. So I was like, "What are you saying? What's the look?"
Well, I'm just thinking, well, maybe you paid that lady to yell at your wife because she didn't pack you no fucking crumb cakes.
So, because we were already talking about what to do on the cruise.
Okay.
And my wife was saying, maybe a couple mornings we'll just have coffee and some Danishes and stuff brought by room service so we can sit on the balcony.
Oh, nice.
And have breakfast. And I was like, well, I ain't got no coffee cakes for us to do that. So I Googled a grocery store nearby. And there was one block up, 3 blocks down.
Okay.
So let's walk. My wife and I went. My brother and my sister-in-law just went to the hotel. So 1 block up. As soon as we went up 1 block up, no problem. Made a right. As soon as we crossed into the next block, I have to admit it got a little shady, the area.
Okay.
All right. To where my wife and I were holding hands as we're walking. And just the way I grew up, the way we grew up, I'm focusing on everything that's going on.
Let me ask you a question. When you're on the street like that, are you on the side?
I'm on the street side.
All right. Good job, Tony.
So I hear and feel somebody walking behind me. Okay, not a big deal initially.
Looking for sand immediately.
So, but the pace that we're keeping with this other person is at a constant.
Okay.
So I'm kind of looking at the corner of my eye, trying to see, not making it obvious. So what I do is I slow down our pace, and I slow my old lady down. I kind of grab her hand, and so we're slow down, so I let the person pass.
Right.
Okay, so that, no problems. We find the grocery store. It's more like a liquor store that has groceries.
Okay.
Well, it's a
7-Eleven.
Yeah, a little bit
Kinda.
more food than a 7-Eleven, but
Okay.
a little local corner grocery store. If you
Okay.
will. By the way, big old sign on the top: crispy, crunchy chicken. Like out here, I was like, oh shit, they got crispy, crunchy. So while we're going in the store, the dude's trying to sell you CDs, like.
They still doing that shit?
Yeah. So it, again, a little shady.
Right.
My wife's more uncomfortable than I am, which she should be.
Right.
But, it is what it is. There's enough people out that I'm not really concerned. It's not like it's dark or anything.
Yeah, but okay, go ahead. Go ahead.
So we go in. We actually find my hostess coffee cakes, buy them, and we start to leave. So 2 stores down is a doggy daycare.
Okay.
So we're actually looking in the window, seeing all these puppies running around. I'm trying to videotape it for my daughter because she likes that kind of stuff. And so all of a sudden my wife's like, hey, we got to go. And I was like, what's up? She was, this car that just drove by, they were looking at us, da-da-da. I was like, okay, I'm not,
Right.
But now she's overdoing it. Overdoing the...
Oh, we got to go. Yeah.
We got to go. And she's like really kind of dragging me. I'm like, hey, slow down. Don't make it obvious that you're nervous. This is what I'm thinking.
Right, just act like you belong.
Yeah, exactly. Cool, be cool. Just be aware of your surroundings. And I'm thinking to myself, you're going to get us killed the way you act. Because she's trying to drag me. And I'm like, yo, slow down. It's okay. It's going to be all right. So we finally break 2 blocks. And again, totally different. Back to normal. 2 blocks. So we get back to the hotel. And she's like, we should have never went there. And this could have happened. I'm like, come on. Relax. So the next morning, when we're talking about doing breakfast, I'm like, yo, we could head up back to that grocery store and get some crispy, crunchy chicken. And she's like, absolutely not. We should have never went there to begin with. We ain't going there. I said, I could go by myself. I power walk over there. I'll be back in 15 minutes. She's like, nope, we ain't doing it. I was like, all right, whatever. It's not worth the fight.
Right.
So we went, everything was in walking distance, which was cool. We wound up getting some breakfast, bagel spot.
So you didn't even eat the crispy, your
No.
coffee cakes?
Oh, no, that was for the boat.
Oh, okay.
So we went to a donut spot. And dog, like Portland, these donuts are off the hook. There's something about these donuts, kid.
You think it's the water?
It's quite possible because that's the thing with New York pizza. It's all about the water.
Right.
Dude, I got 2 donuts. All right?
Okay.
I ate 1. And, dude, I felt like I had a whole meal.
Really?
With some milk. And this donut place is like an old building, 2-story. It almost looks like it was a library that converted into a donut shop because they still had the wall of books.
Okay.
To where I wound up bringing the other donut on the boat with me. And I ate it like 2 days later, and it was fantastic, kid. These donuts are off the hook. But I did pass over something. We went to the Space Needle.
Oh, shit, okay.
But we didn't go up it.
Oh.
Because that's kind of high.
Yeah, that's...
And my brother really didn't want to do it. He's like, absolutely not. You guys can do it. And I was like...
like heights either?
No. And I was like, I would have went had the 3 of them said, let's do this. I just probably would have looked out the window.
Right.
But he was like, no, I'm not doing it. So I was like, yeah, I'm not doing it either. So we're good. But they have right next door a garden of blown glass.
Okay.
You know, they heat it up and make designs out of it.
So do they make flowers out of it, or is it just broken glass?
All kinds of stuff.
Okay.
If you think of Superman and Fortress of Solitude.
Okay.
Just ice like that, dude. Just crazy shit. I'm talking... Initially, I was like, what are we doing? What are we going in here for? But when you actually are up close and seeing it, dude, sculptures that are 15 feet tall.
Really?
Multicolored. If you think Ursula from The Little Mermaid and how all her... she's like an octopus and shit like that. Dude, incredible.
Wow.
Again, you just have to see it to believe it. Here's a couple of pictures. I didn't think I put that in the group text.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's pretty fucking amazing.
Dude, I'm talking crazy. The stuff they could do, or they did. And just to think about how you move that.
Wow. Yeah, that's pretty dope.
So at one point during this, while we were here, they actually had a demonstration of how you can make vases and stuff out of glass. Dog.
So they were blowing glass right in front of you?
Dog.
Did you get excited at all?
Crazy. It actually was.
Really?
Pretty exciting, yeah. Because let's say it becomes a ball, like almost like a balloon.
Right.
And they spin it on a piece of metal to give it shape.
Right.
To think that that's glass.
And then they use another piece of glass or metal to kind of put dents and shit in it, right?
Do whatever it is that they want to do. And then at one point, when they're done, they were making like a bowl, if you will. And this was more like, let's say it was a fat bottle. Okay. And they used something else just to cut a hole and tap it out to where now it's a bowl.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
Yeah, it was pretty amazing.
There's actually, if you're ever in the Bay Area, I think it's in San Francisco is where it's at, you can take a glass blowing class, and you get to take home whatever you make that day. Which is kind of cool. We never got the opportunity to go do that, but me and my sister talked about it a couple different times. But if you're ever up there, look it up and see if it's still available. They're usually Groupon shit for it. That'd be kind of cool to go do. It's a shame that they don't have shit like that down here.
But I'll tell you what, they were saying how the oven that they heat it up in is like over 1,000 degrees.
Oh yeah,
dude, it's crazy.
Yeah, but it wouldn't feel that much different than here after a while. You know what I mean? You just put a glass outside with them.
It might actually take a lot longer to cool down.
Yeah, right? Yeah, I pulled it out and it was still limpy.
We had this Uber driver. He was originally from Africa.
Okay.
And so we got to talking with him. Mainly my brother, because he was in the front seat. And he was asking us where we were from, and my brother was like, "We're Southern California. It gets hot out there." And the guy's like, how high? He's like 115, max. Few days. He kind of giggled. He's like, where I'm from is like 120, 130 regularly, like multiple days. And then, he was a black dude.
Right.
And he goes, you see my dashboard? He started pointing to his dashboard. And it was a black dashboard. He goes, when I first came here, this is how dark I was. Dog, I was dying.
Oh, shit.
So the next day, we go onto the boat. The next morning, got to the pier. And it's almost like an airport. I don't know if you've ever taken a boat.
No, I've never been on a cruise before.
It's almost like an airport. It's big lines. You gotta go checkpoint. Yeah. So I started noticing a lot of cowboy hats.
Now, when you say cowboy hats, you mean like Texas, not like with the star on it.
Right.
Okay.
Which made me notice there's a lot of white people. Well,
Alaska's a pretty big Caucasian attraction. There's a couple of people that go out to Alaska. There's people that are running from shit and don't want to get found.
Funny you say that. I have a story for that too.
And people that go there on a boat because they want to see how cold it is if they could retire out there.
So we get onto the boat, and it's when we're on the boat, you hang out, you go to the bars. It was becoming a lot more noticeable that there was a lot of white people.
How many times did people ask you for help?
A lot.
Really?
Yeah. So,
I was just fucking around for reals? Oh, wow.
No.
Oh.
I'm just talking about a lot of white people.
Oh, I thought you meant people asking you for help. I was like, nah, come on.
I kind of nicknamed it the MAGA cruise.
Okay.
Okay. So we'll get back to that in a second. So the first day, we go to our rooms, check everything out, explore. The boat is humongous. We take an annual cruise. This boat is probably a good 30 to 40% bigger.
Oh, wow.
And the room was a little bit bigger. The bathroom, for example, the bathroom on our regular cruises is tiny, kid.
Okay.
And this bathroom had a little bit more space. The shower was a little bigger. It's a much nicer cruise. Okay, we're used to the weekend booze cruuse.
Let's pack as many of these fuckers on this thing
exactly.
as we can. Okay.
This one is a little bit more luxurious. Overall, the food was a lot better. The service was a lot better.
Wow.
We went to a martini bar, and it was cool because it was a oval bar where the bartenders are in the center.
And everybody had fucking lemon drops.
Yeah, I tore me up some, yeah. The bar itself was like metal. Let's say a good 18 inches wide. And it was ice on top of it. So almost like snow.
Okay.
Like shaved ice, if you will. That was cool. That was real cool. We got a little twisted. My old lady got a little twisted there.
So on the bar was actually kind of like the metal where you go to those ice cream shops that mix the ice together, the flavors together.
Yeah.
Like that?
Yeah.
So it has that little frost on top of it.
And you could actually scrape it with your fingers.
I'm glad you said that. Which one of you fucking wrote your names with your finger on the metal?
Oh, that was my old lady.
Can't take you guys nowhere. Gotta do graffiti and ice even. Jesus criminy.
The dude, they were like, doing their tricks. For example, one dude made 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like 6 martinis at once.
Oh shit.
With two of them stacked, like let's say 4 on the bottom and then 2 on top in the middle. Almost a triangle, if you will.
Okay.
And he had 4 of the metal mixing glasses. So he was making 4 different flavors. Like he shook them all up and kind of stacked them on top of each other somehow.
Right.
Facing each other to where he lifted it like a log, if you will. Like a big branch.
Right.
And kind of twisted the ends up to where they opened.
And they all poured into a different cup?
They all poured into each cup. That was sporty. My man had it down. My old lady started getting a little twisted, right? So they had a DJ there, and he had a nice little setup too.
Right.
You could tell he wasn't a DJ though.
Did you tell me you mind if I?
Well, no. But when my old lady starts to get to drinking, she's, she's feeling herself. She's looking to have a good time. Well, again, the DJ really wasn't a DJ. And from what I gather after the week, because we experienced him, and I'll explain later, him throughout the cruise as the DJ.
Okay.
All he was doing was like picking a song and letting it play all the way through.
Okay, he pause and play.
Yeah, and then pick another song and play it all the way through. None of the songs matched. You know, it was just you were better off listening to Pandora. So she went up to him. She goes, well, she tells me first. You think he has any Stevie B? And I was like, nah, he ain't gonna have no Stevie B. And she goes, no, I'm gonna go ask. I'm gonna go request, have him tell him to go play some Stevie B. I was like, he ain't gonna have it. So she goes over there and she starts, you know, I can see her talking to the dude.
I don't even know who that is.
Pretty much.
Right.
So she comes back, she's all deflated. She's like, yeah, he doesn't have it. Well, wouldn't you know, 10, 15 minutes later, she's gonna say, I'm gonna go see if he can play some Stevie B. I said, you already did that. He don't have it. No. I'm gonna go. So there she goes. She's talking to him again, and she comes back. I said, what did he tell you this time? She goes, well, that he doesn't have it. I said, see, I told you. And she says, well, I told him, you want me to go get my husband's speaker from the cabin right now? Oh. And I was like, no, you didn't.
Wow. Holy shit. Your old lady's got fucking alcohol Alzheimer's.
So that night, the first, they always have like activities and then dance parties. Well, that first night, they had a silent disco.
I'm sorry, a silent disco?
Yeah, where you put on headphones.
Oh, okay.
So if you're not wearing the headphones, you don't hear anything. But you put the headphones on, and you know it's bumping. And I've seen them before, but these were special because they actually had 3 channels on them.
So everybody's listening to their own shit for the most part.
Well, you have 3 different stations, if you will, to listen to.
That's kind of smart, though, right?
Dude, it was because also it had like a color on the illuminated LED color on the headphones.
So you knew what.
So it was red, green, or blue. So if you go to red, it was like hip hop. If you go to green, it was like more like oldies, rock and roll. Let's say Elvis and stuff like that. And then the third one was like Latin, the new Latin kind of dance stuff.
Okay.
So, you know, obviously you can see what people are dancing to. Because nobody's dancing to the same beat. So it kind of looks odd. And what really
looked like a high school dance.
And what really looked odd was when you could see like a couple that just got the headphones, because you don't figure it out at first. Nobody tells you there's 3 stations. You got to kind of... So you see one of the 2 on blue and the other one on green. And they're kind of like, and then you finally see them figure it out. But what makes it funny, again, is, like, I took off my headphones a couple of times, and, dude, it's just silence. And all you hear is people's feet squeaking on the floor.
Oh, that's fucking hilarious.
Dude, it kind of is funny, especially when you're drunk. So here's... But
how smart is that on a fucking ship like that? Like...
And no need to put the volume up because, again, it's silent.
Right? Oh, that's fucking hilarious. That's funny, dude. Like, but what a great idea. Like, you have one club and you can have...
Well, this was a big thing during the pandemic. When I saw, like, I've seen videos where they'd have these kind of parties in the backyard. You know, social distancing.
Oh, okay.
So it's not loud. You know, they get a DJ that offers this, and it's pretty cool.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So is that going to be your next purchase?
Oh no.
Oh.
I'm good. I'm good on that.
So I want to know about the conversation you had with the DJ on schooling him.
Oh no, I never did that.
No?
No. Can't do that.
Why not?
Because who am I? I mean, to come across...
I mean, you work with me. Come on, just say.
It'd be different if I had some sort of equipment and say, okay, let me fast forward to the night before...
Why couldn't you just plug your phone in?
Because then it's almost the same thing. The music would have been better. I can guarantee you that. But it would have been the same thing. You let a song play... And then you got to stop it.
Oh, so he didn't have any mixing equipment?
No, he did. He had a controller. He had a nice piece of furniture. He had his laptop. He was plugged into the ship's PA system.
Was he using? He wasn't using Serato or anything.
Yeah. But he would just push play on the controller, let the song run out.
So why would it be? Why would that? I don't understand. If you could have plugged your phone in and used your music, why wouldn't it be any different? You'd be able to mix it.
No, because you need the laptop to plug into the controller that does all the turntables and stuff. And your laptop has the software of Serato, if you will.
So there's a for the iPhone, there's a mixer that you can download, and you can even scratch on it.
Yeah, I've seen those little...
You just didn't want to fucking do it. That's cool. You ruined everybody's weekend just because you didn't want to play DJ.
Well, what I was going to say was I'm fast-forwarding it to the second night before we left, before we ended. I'll fast-forward to this. They had an 80s night at the club. And...
He had Stevie B.
No. No. But, again, he had a song, played it all the way through. Some songs, the quality was so bad, you think he was just playing a YouTube video.
Really?
Yeah, and the thing is, and this is why I say I don't think he was the DJ or a DJ. I'm thinking the DJ they probably hired for this cruise didn't show, and they told somebody, yo, you just need to play music because we need something. Pick a crew member, and you're the DJ this week.
I wonder how much you could get paid being a DJ on a boat. That's got to be pretty good money, dude. Plus, you get to travel everywhere.
True.
You know what I mean? And they have like their own city underneath the...
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? Underneath where everybody else lives.
Yep.
So that'd be dope, dude.
The problem is, maybe the specialty things like a DJ or... Because they have productions like dance
right.
shows and stuff, but most of the crew, they triple jobs down there. It's you're a waiter for these 4 hours, then you're a bartender for the next 4 hours. You know what I'm saying? You're not just a bartender for 8 hours.
Right.
So I don't know if the DJ that applies to the DJ, like if you're only DJing for 4 hours a night, I don't think they're going to let you sit around for the other 20.
Are the bars on a boat open 24 hours a day?
No.
So is there like a time where like the boat's like, all right, fucking lights out?
I think like at 1 or 2. And when I say 1 or 2, it's like they have a pizza station, for example.
Okay.
And that opens at 11 a.m. And that stays open until 1 in the morning. So you go and get a slice at any point in time. Get a whole pie if you want, any point in time between those hours.
And you don't pay for it because that's all included,
Correct.
right? Yeah. Nice.
And the pizza this trip was off the hook.
Really?
Oh. And they had a soft serve ice cream machine with sprinkles.
How many pies would you say you ate in the week?
Probably 1.5.
That's it?
Yeah, I didn't go crazy. Maybe 2. And maybe 3 slices every time. Maybe 4 for lunch and then dinner.
So, like, I think the last time you told me that when you guys go on a trip like this, that you can actually buy a drink pass, right? Or some sort of drink package.
Did that. Yep.
So when you do that, you get a certain amount of drinks. Is it you get a certain amount of drinks during a day? Or
on the booze cruise we do?
Yeah.
It's 15 drinks a day.
Okay.
And there's hours involved in that. So it's not like when it hits midnight, the new day starts.
Okay.
And here's why I say that. Because my daughter, the last cruise we went on, she used up all her drinks for the day. And when midnight struck, she said, give me another one, bartender. He's like, no, you've already used up all yours. She goes, nope, 12:01. It's Saturday. And he was like, no, it don't work that way.
Oh, that sucks.
But on this trip, there didn't seem to be a limit.
So let me ask you a question. Say you're your daughter, right? Could she have bought another drink?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Okay, it's not like they stopped serving you because
Correct.
you already taken your 15.
Correct. But like the drinks were like $15, I think.
God damn. So, like on this one that you went, you said it was unlimited, whatever went on. So, do you manage how much you drink, or do you just fuck it, let's go?
Yeah, you're fucking. Let's go.
Wow. You just throw fucking. We're gonna.
I don't drink that much, so I got buzzed on that first day at the martini bar.
Okay.
Because martinis can hit you hard, kid. You take 3 of those, 4 of those, you're feeling it. Trust me. A good martini, shaken, not stirred.
And you only drink the lemon drops, right?
No, that day I had a chocolate martini.
Okay.
The lemon drop. They have one that's called the snowflake, which is white chocolate.
Yeah, you probably like that one.
It was pretty good.
Yeah. What else?
I think I just stuck with those 3.
Those 3?
Yeah, because they have one that's like called a dirty martini. That's nasty.
Because that has extra vermouth or something in it, right?
Something
so it's dry.
It smells like feet to me. It's nasty.
Yeah, I had gone. I was living in New Mexico, and we had gone out to dinner with a record rep. And that was back in the day where they would fucking take out the whole station and pay for dinner like it didn't matter, right? So we went, and I was like, fine, I'm going to try a fucking martini. So they brought me this martini, and I just a regular one. I don't want it dirty or anything, just neat, right? So they bring me one, and I took a little sip, and I was like, what the fuck is that? Like, how does anybody drink that? So I called the waitress over, and I said, hey, can you bring me out like half an orange juice or half an orange? She said, sure. So she brings me out this half an orange, and I take the orange off of everybody's plate, and I squeeze the oranges into the fucking martini, because it's all gin anyways. So I just had a fucking gin and juice, and the fucking the mixer that was there. Dude, you the only motherfucker I know that could take a fucking $12 drink and turn it into a fucking $3 sip in the hood, dude. I'm like, well, fuck, that shit tastes nasty.
Can get you twisted, kid.
What was that?
Martinis can get you twisted.
Yeah, that gin is rough, though, bro. Like, and I don't know if you ever got drunk on gin and juice. Drinking just orange juice and gin?
No.
So gin is dry already. And then you drink that much citrus, and you wake up and you're fucking... That's a headache from hell, bro. Like, you really dry. Your mouth is all fucking raw from all the orange juice and shit. Maybe it's because I was using too much orange juice. Like, I never really liked the gin, but...
Right. So the next day, day 2, my wife and I woke up, we went out to breakfast at the buffet. And there's a waiter like pushing a cart with coffee and stuff like that. So he comes up to us. He's like, "Hey, you guys want any drinks?" Because they'll go make you a latte if you want, or if you want alcohol, whatever.
Nice.
Yeah, and so he dude, and it was very noticeably odd. He's staring at my old lady, and he pulls out this menu. He's like, "Hey, I don't know if you're interested. You know, we have a couple of restaurants here on board. Here's the menu to one of them, a Tuscan restaurant." He's like, "Where are you guys from?" And she's like, "California." He's like, "Yeah, you know, California has pretty good cuisine." You know, he's trying to make a sale.
Right.
He's like, because it's extra. We paid food and drink included. Everything's included. Tips are included.
Okay.
I ain't got to sign no papers, nothing.
Oh, wow.
And that's different from the other cruise. Because on the other cruise, they give you a receipt. You could, like, tip the dudes.
Okay.
Well, we paid for all that up front. Tips,
okay.
Everything. It's funny. I don't know if I discussed this. On the other cruises, I have to wait for a gold card.
Right.
Okay? So many cruises, you get a gold card. And, you know, you do get treated a little bit better. They see that gold card, they kind of... Yeah. So I automatically had a gold card on this one.
Automatically? Why?
Because of the drink package we bought. Because I found out there's different levels of drink packages you can get. And we got top tier, because top tier allows you to any alcohol on the boat. You
nice.
know, top shelf, whatever. Lower packages, you can still get it, but it's extra if you wanted Kettle One versus Tito's.
Gotcha.
Grey Goose instead of Tito's, I should say, or
right.
what have you. Anyways, so We paid again. We paid for everything. So these 3 restaurants, if you ate there, you'd have to make a reservation, and it's extra. It's like $65 or $80 a person.
Damn.
So, but he's selling it to my old lady. So she's like trying to include me in the conversation, but he ain't even bothering to look at me. He just concentrated on her.
Right, because she's gonna make the
Yeah. And it was awkward. It was like, dog, I'm here too. There's 2 of us here. You see me too? And, you know, and he's trying to sell all, you know, you can get lasagna, spaghetti, ribeye steak. You know, he's pointing to all these extra items. And so she says, well, there's 4 of us in our group. I'd have to see if the other 2 wanted to, so I'll have to get back to you type deal. And then he said, okay, and he walked away. And it turns out my brother and sister-in-law showed up. So we ran it by them real quick, and we were like, yeah, sure, let's give it a shot. Let's give it a shot. So we wound up doing it that night, going to that nice restaurant.
Wow.
And let me tell you, it's like I said, the boat is so much bigger that it housed 3 regular-sized restaurants in the back of the boat. It's a trip.
What'd you end up eating?
I wound up having spaghetti and meatballs. I had a flatbread.
For $65?
My old lady got a ribeye. I don't recall what my brother and sister-in-law got. But that was, you know, we had to get dressed up for it. You know, I wore a jacket, you know, blase. They have one of the floors for a certain area, for a certain amount of distance.
Yeah.
Is shops. So they actually have a Breitling store.
What's that?
Breitling are watches.
Oh, okay.
They have another store that had, you know, Tag Heuer, Rolex.
I'd like to have a tag. That'd be nice.
So, you know, I'm looking at the watches. The dude trying to sell me on some watches.
Did you buy one?
No. No. They didn't have what I wanted.
Oh. Which one were you looking at? Rolling?
He was showing me the Breitlings because it was like Breitling had its own store, if you will.
Okay.
The other store had, again, a small counter for Tag Heuer, small counter for Citizen, stuff like that. So what else did we do? We went to karaoke that night.
Oh, nice. Did you sing?
No. Karaoke was only like an hour. And let me tell you, they got like 100 people already signed up by the time you get there.
Yeah, I bet, yeah.
But the difference is with this karaoke was the crews have musicians that play. You know, they'll in the grand foyer they'll play for like an hour from 2 to 3, like a band, or they actually have a quartet. You know, violins and all that shit and stuff like that.
Okay.
So the house band that, you know, they play throughout. Instead of when you sing karaoke, instead of playing a track of music, the band actually plays.
Oh, nice.
And the singer to the band actually sings backup on the song if it needs backup vocals. And let me tell you, that made a world of difference.
Really?
Yeah, it really
sells it.
Yeah, because when the person who's doing karaoke like fumbles the words, like the singer will actually sing them. So the song is still going, and like the person singing actually catches up.
Okay.
You know, they're a little nervous. They start off at you know, they don't start at the correct time, at the correct point in the song.
Right.
So the singer actually does that, and then again he goes to the backup mode. It was actually off the hook.
Really?
Yeah, because they add a little flair to it. You know, the bass is, you know, he's pulling his strings a little harder than the song would have gone.
Right.
You know, he's getting a little funkier with it, I should say.
That's cool.
Yeah, it really was. That's the first time, maybe the second, I noticed the whiteness. Because the songs that a couple of the dudes were singing were country songs. You know,
I got friends in long places.
The one I really remember was John Denver. I wrote it down. Hold on.
Where the whiskey flows.
Take Me Home, Country Roads. Dude, this song is like from 1970.
Fuck.
And there's a part in it where it says, "Take me home." something, where I belong. Virginia something. And dude, when the dude was singing that part, he put his fist out, like
he meant it.
Yeah, like white power type deal. You know what I'm saying? I might be reading more into it, but it was like, dog. You know, okay, we get it. Oh, and then either the second or third day, I saw a dude. You know, you ever see the Bounty, the Quicker Picker Upper?
Yeah.
It's got the lumberjack
the flannel,
on it.
Yeah.
You know, he had his shirt that had biting with the flannel. It said, the Quicker Fucker Upper.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I've seen that before as a meme, but you could, again, this just solidifies my thought process.
Right.
So that was that day. So far everything was cool. Not that it didn't go cool. So the next day, we're in Ketchikan, Alaska.
Okay.
And I said it correctly. Ketchikan. Hey, these are funny names, trust me.
Okay.
So we took a tour around, showed us the city. We were in a van, a couple other people.
Did you run into any of the people from the show, the Alaskan Bush People?
I never seen that show, so I wouldn't know.
Okay, go ahead.
On this tour,
Yeah.
there's like an area where it's almost like the stores are on a lake.
Okay.
So, you're walking on wood planks, and there's water beneath you.
Okay.
So, and all the buildings are very old.
So you don't feel all that steady walking on them?
No, you do, but everything's creaking. The window, like I said, the windows are all old. It's just old, like antique stores,
Okay.
where the actual buildings are antiques. And the history of it is like this used to be a brothel for all the fishermen. And they keep the signs up and stuff.
Okay. Let me ask you this. And Heather, don't get mad, but I need him to answer honestly. Were there any hot Alaskan chicks that were there, like that were working behind the counter? You're like, oh, she's kind of cute, like for living in Alaska.
Not that I noticed, no.
No.
And again, it's more. These are more souvenir shops.
Right.
It's
So it's all older people.
Yeah, for the most part.
Okay.
At least in this area.
And a lot of handmade shit, right?
Lots of handmade stuff.
But what kind of handmade shit do they make in Alaska? Fishing hooks?
There's a lot of totem poles.
Okay.
And they make little miniature ones. I have to admit, one store had glass, crystal, heavy sculptures that looked off the hook.
Really?
And I'm talking like the crystal looks like is obviously the bottom's flat so you can put it on a table, and there's like clear crystal that's shooting out like water, where they actually have whales in it, like popping out of the water.
Oh, that's kind of dope.
For like $1,300.
God damn.
That's what I'm talking about. And I'm thinking to myself, how does somebody buy this and travel with it?
How does somebody in Alaska know that you could sell that shit for $1,300?
I have to admit, if you were into that, that's like something I would buy.
Right.
If I was into whales, I mean, this thing looked off the hook, I ain't gonna lie.
Right.
But I'm not into whales like that. So, yeah. We went to a lot of this place is just like crab, lobster. It's fish food, seafood.
Right.
So, the first spot we went to, I had chicken fingers, of course.
Of course.
But I did try the lobster French fries.
Ooh, that sounds good.
It had cheese. It had.
It's like carne asada fries, but with lobster.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I tried it, so hey.
Good for you.
Thank you.
Was there any? But it wasn't like oh fuck, that's fantastic. We got to come back to Alaska for that.
That spot wasn't, and the reason we went to that spot to begin with was the original spot they wanted to go to.
Yeah.
A line out the door.
Oh wow.
And everybody was like, "That's the spot you got to go." crab legs, that kind of stuff, king crab
yeah.
legs. So they decided, let's just eat here. We can't wait in that long on line. Plus, there was another spot near where the bus dropped us off that they said had really good crab legs. So that's what they really wanted, was the king crab legs.
Right.
So we ate at that one spot just to get something in our stomachs. And then we went walking around and then hit that other spot. There was like a 15-minute wait.
That's not bad.
And we went there, and yeah, the three of them got the long-ass king crab legs. I just sat there and watched them.
Really?
Yeah, I can't do it.
That sounds delicious. Cockroach of the sea, bro. That's delicious.
And, it was funny because maybe it's just because it's so fresh that they were saying that the meat was easy to come out.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it was like, pulling out a big hole coming out of it. You know what I'm saying? It was like not broken up. They didn't have to like work for it.
Right. You have to use little fucking forks and all that.
They did to break the shell.
Right.
But it was like, because I seen them like, you eating like little pieces, little.
It's annoying.
Yeah.
It's so delicious. Yeah, but you gotta look how much fucking work you gotta do to get a toothpick size.
Exactly. So we did that. We went back on the boat. That night was that expensive dinner.
Okay.
Now, the one thing I failed to mention about this nice dinner was the dessert.
Okay.
They had a vanilla ice cream kit that came in one of those, almost looked like a martini glass.
Okay.
So it was like really fancy.
Yeah.
Let's say 2 scoops, not like big 31 flavor scoops, like
Right. Not ghetto scoops.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sophisticated scoops.
There you go.
But it looked like white chips, like icicle chips on it.
Okay.
They were actually white chocolate
Truffles or whatever. Shavings.
Shavings. Dog. The combination of those shavings and the ice cream was incredible.
Really?
And I could have, because when you go on these boats, I don't know if I've ever told you this before, the menu is open to whatever you want. You can order every single thing on the menu, and you can order it twice.
Oh shit.
So if you want steak, you get the steak, and like I had the spaghetti, my wife had the steak.
Okay.
I could have ordered spaghetti and steak, and something else,
Now for $65, that makes a lot more sense. Or $80.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you don't want to waste food, but you can if you want it.
Right.
You can order 5 appetizers if you want. That's how these boats are. So believe you me, I didn't want to be looked at funny if I would have said, hey, yo, bring me 3 more of these ice creams, because it was off the hook, kid. One of the reasons why we took this trip, because it was my brother's anniversary.
Oh, okay.
So they brought them out like a creme brulee, I believe it was, with a candle, the whole shebang. So that was kind of cute.
And the creme brulee is like the pudding that, they're like a cake that's like a
cake
lava
that's
cake.
like burnt.
Yeah, okay.
Like a vanilla cake.
Right.
So that was cool.
Dude, my niece, so I bought her and my sister, they both wanted one. I bought them these countertop mixers, the big ones where you...
KitchenAid?
Yeah. So I bought them one. They each wanted one. My niece made this fucking... So her grandfather's birthday was a couple of days ago. So she made him a cake. Bro, she made a homemade Snickers cake.
Ooh.
Fuck. Wow, bro. That shit was delicious. She made the chocolate. She made the cake. And then they bought the Snickers and cut it all up to put on, to do the crumble on top. Oh my God, bro.
Really?
Decadent. So fucking delicious.
I bet.
Oh. I could have used a glass of milk for that. But I had to go back to work the next day, and I was like, I don't know if I can. Chocolate that's homemade and drink a glass of milk, I'm going to be straight to the bathroom as soon as I get to work. I did not want to do that.
That night ended early because the next morning we were going to be at the glaciers.
Okay.
And we were going to be at the glaciers at 6 a.m.
Holy shit.
So they were like, look, we're only going to be there for like 10, 15 minutes. We're going to be there long enough for each side of the boat to be able to go on their balcony and see it. And if you have a room that's not on the balcony, you could go on the deck and watch it. But they're like, we'll be there between 6 and 7. So, everybody make sure you get up early. So we woke up like at 5. My only didn't want to miss it at all. And it was weird because, we open up our curtains and, we're on the balcony. And, you're really close to a mountain. And, everything's going by. And all of a sudden, like a fog comes. Right?
Right.
And the fog starts
Did you hear the dun, 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 dun?
To where it was like a scary movie, like a Sleepy Hollow type deal.
It was like Scooby-Doo.
To where you can't even see 2 feet in front of you.
Oh, yeah.
It's a trip. That eventually went away. And then, as we're traveling, all of a sudden my lady's like, what's that in the water? And it looked like water bottles that are in the plastic, the case of water.
Yeah.
Still in the plastic. Kind of look like that, kind of floating in the water, but bigger. And she goes, what is that? And I was like, damn, that looks like trash. That looks like water bottles. And she goes, all the way out here, that's a shame, trash like that. I was like, yeah. So as we're moving, as we're continuing to go, more of them start coming. And now I look closer, and they're actually chunks of ice.
Oh, shit.
From the glaciers. And it's a trip because there was one that was probably a good 6x4. Not exactly a square, but
right.
Let's say it looked like a continent, if you will.
Okay.
And the movement of the water of the boat caused these ripples, and it started to break it up, because of the wave, and it started to explode in the middle.
Oh, shit.
It was a trip because it started to break apart and it would bubble in the center. I don't know what was causing it, but it looked a trip. So we're continuing down. Now it starts to get even colder. It's a trip how we were in our bathrobes initially, and then it starts getting cold, so we put some clothes on, and then we put on some jackets, and then finally we get there. And let me tell you, man, that shit is a trip.
Wow.
Again, it looks like Superman's Fortress of Solitude. And the sad part about it is, at this point, the cruise director is speaking on the loudspeakers.
Right.
And he actually was saying he's been doing this for like 20 years. And that wall of ice that we saw, which I'll show you right now, he said was much taller and because it's starting to melt.
Right.
And he says 20 years ago it was just like a wall. You couldn't even see above it or behind it. And now it's starting to melt.
Oh, shit.
See what I'm saying?
It looks flat. Doesn't even look like a wall.
It looks like water that was gushing and froze.
Yeah.
So it's in a sense, it's sad if that's actually what's going on. Which
right.
I'm not going to say it's not. But, it is what it is. But it's just a trip how some areas is like clear blue, and some areas is just the ice, and some areas is just white. I didn't understand what caused that difference in colors.
I wonder if it's just how fast or the temperature that it froze at.
That's true.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You can get some of that clear ice, and some that's crystal clear because it doesn't have any air in it.
Right.
And then some that's really frosty looking because it's full of air.
Yeah.
So it would be that same kind of thing, I think.
The water itself was like a greenish clear, whereas in the ocean is like a dark blue. You can't even see through it.
Right.
And they were saying that color is caused by the waterfalls that are constantly dumping into that area, like the silica and the calcium creates that color.
Okay.
So that was pretty interesting. My old lady was upset that there were no whales out there.
Okay.
She's like, where are all the whales? She was looking forward to seeing some whales. So we docked in Juneau.
Okay.
Juneau.
Now, does Juneau look like a regular old city, or is it just like? Because I would assume that it looks kind of like Seattle, because it's a port. It's a small city, right?
It's all the cities we ported at, except for Canada, was small, and right there at the port is like a downtown happening area, bars, a lot of jewelry stores.
Okay.
I wanted to ask somebody why that was, and I'm talking like Rolex, Omega, diamonds.
Well, it could be because of gold. There's a lot of gold in Alaska.
Oh, is there? Mm-hmm. I'm talking a lot of jewelry stores, kid. More jewelry stores than anything else.
I wonder if maybe that's the first stop from wherever they get the jewels or something.
I don't know. But there was a lot of them. So when we ported, my old lady and sister-in-law went to go look at whale watching tours.
Oh, shit.
But they initially said, yo, they got a helicopter tour that we could go and check out some other glaciers and stuff. And my brother and I were like, fuck that.
We're not going to
We're not going on a helicopter. And so we're like, we're fine if you two want to go. And so they actually looked into it. And it was like $700 a person. So
$700 a person?
Yeah. So they were like, yeah, we're not doing that.
Shit.
So we got a whale watching tour.
Okay.
So that was cool. The driver was mad cool. She was, taking us to where the boat was.
Now, let me tell you something. That sounds really, really cool. Like, I think it would be really cool to be able to see that. But there was, when I lived in Bakersfield, there was a guy that owned a business there in Bakersfield, really well known in the town, wealthy guy. And he had a sailing boat. And he had gone out sailing. And I guess wherever they were, a fucking whale breached the water, jumping out of the water, and landed on their fucking boat.
Damn.
And killed everybody in it. I can tell you that story now that you're back. I would be. I don't like the open water. And so I'm already.
I can see that because when we were out there, you're out there.
Yeah.
And the boat is not that it's small, but it's small.
Well, you're talking about a whale, like.
They were saying the whale was as big as our boats. Though I should say the whales, because there was multiple out there. Mm-hmm. Well, one of the selling points why my wife and sister-in-law did it was they guaranteed we'd see whales. And my old lady was like, how can you guarantee that? How can you guarantee that? And they were like, we'll guarantee you're going to see a whale. And I'm telling my old lady, they can show you a picture and say, hey, we showed you a whale.
You a whale, right?
But,
here's some binoculars. Look way out there.
So we went whale watching, and dude, it was cold, kid. It would rain and then stop raining, and then rain and stop raining. And it was, dude, I was shaking, like shivering, like it was cold to the bone. But I get cold easily. I'm getting old. But we did see whales. Like from a distance, you could see the spout, and they're explaining how a whale comes up 3 times for air.
Okay.
And then on the 3rd time, that's when he takes his big breath of air or whatever it is that they do.
Right.
And then they'll go deep. And they're doing that because that's when they swing their tail up. That's when you see the tail. That means they're going down under.
Down.
So a couple of times we saw that. And there are let's say there was 4 other boats actually looking at whales as well.
Okay.
We're not real close to each other, but you can see them off in the distance. and the captains are communicating with each other. They're like, "Hey, we got a whale over here. I'm at this location. Bring your boat over here." But they don't get close to each other, so it's like real respectful. And if a whale is too close to them, they have to shut off their motors
to not cut them or stuff. Right?
Yeah, something like that. So we were chasing these whales, right? Because again, we saw multiple ones.
Okay.
And dog, he had stopped, and we were looking and looking. And bro, all of a sudden a whale popped up right next to our boat.
Oh, fuck that.
Dog. And the whale went back under, and the captain said, "Yo, the whale is going under us right now." And we were like, and so everybody was looking on one side, and everybody ran to the other side of the boat to try and see if the whale would pop up. And he popped up, but he popped up much further away. So it's not like he popped up right on the other side.
How tight was your ass the whole time waiting for him to pop up?
It wasn't that bad. I wasn't scared at all.
Okay.
But it was surprising that, it was right. I felt like I was on a Disney ride, and it just popped up right there.
Oh, yeah.
Because it didn't really look real.
It was like the fucking shark at Universal Studios.
Exactly.
Fuck.
So that was cool. We wound up going back, and somebody had asked if that lake or that ocean where we're at ever freezes over. And they're like, no, this year it only got to like 0. So it never froze. The temperatures only got to 0, and I was like, man, freezing my balls off.
That. So how cold was it while you were there? Even on the water? Like, do you know what it was on the water?
No, I don't. It was like 40, 50 degrees, I think, when we were looking at the glaciers.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought it'd be much colder than that.
We packed thermals. I bought a bubble jacket. The whole 9.
Right.
And the first tour we took, we brought all that. And it was hot.
This shit was hot.
Yeah, it was like in the 60s in the sun. So, luckily I brought my backpack, and we put everything in there.
Wow.
But that day, we bought rain gear. That day, on the whale watching, it was a good thing we brought it because it was cold. And the rain, so I had the rain gear on.
I would like to go do like fly fishing, where you go out just knee deep into the water in your waders, and but you got to go to somebody that knows where they're going.
Right.
Somebody with a gun, like, got to make sure the bear comes out. You know what I mean? Like, fuck that.
In Juneau,
okay,
there is only one McDonald's and one Subway regarding fast food restaurants.
Fucking McDonald's is everywhere. Wow.
Just the fact that there's only one, though, where you could throw a rock in any direction here and hit a McDonald's.
Yeah.
It's funny because I'm the type that I think a lot.
Okay.
Okay. So if you put something in my head, I might think about it for a long time.
Right.
So my brother was afraid that he'd get seasick whale watching. So my old lady had some Dramamine. So she's like, "Hey, I got Dramamine. If you want to take a couple pills now, you got to take it before you go." He's like, "Cool." So he took it. So she's like, "You want Dramamine?" And I was like, "No, I'm good." Because I've gotten seasick before.
Okay.
I was like, "No, I'm good." She, "You sure? I don't want you to get sick." I was like, "No, I'm good." She's like, "Are you sure? Because, if you get sick, da-da-da." And I was like, at this point, I'm like, fuck. Now it's in my head.
Right.
So the bus ride going to the boat, I'm thinking to myself, should I take it? Should I not take it? I don't want to get sick. But I've taken it before when I shouldn't have, meaning I didn't get sick, and I got sick just because it makes you feel...
The counter, right?
Yeah. So I was like, I don't want to feel like that. So in my head now, I'm thinking, and I'm like, my old lady's trying to get me sick. Because she knows you can't tell me stuff like that,
Right.
And, the one thing I did when the kids were going to school was if I had to yell them about something or, I had to talk to them sternly,
right,
I'd never do it before school. Going to school, it was always roses.
Have a great day.
Yep.
Yeah.
Roses and chocolates. Have a great day, learn something, da-da-da. If I had to talk to them, after school. because I don't want to ruin their day.
Right.
That's just the way I am. So that was cool. Got back. This is Monday. So the boat, like I said, has several bars. And they actually had one that was kind of enclosed.
Okay.
So instead of it being open, like, let's say, if the boat almost looks like a mall, if you will. And in the center, they got the bars. Like, the martini bar was like in the center area.
Okay.
Like a kiosk, if you will.
Okay.
So this bar was like a store, if it was a mall.
Okay.
They closed down all the curtains because they were playing football. So it's Sunday night football. Excuse me. This is Sunday night.
Oh, okay.
So my old lady's team, the Cowboys, played Sunday night.
Okay.
Or was it Monday night? I don't remember. No, it was Sunday night.
Sunday, yeah.
And so we were in there watching it. Dog, it was so dark in there, I started falling asleep. They got popcorn, you drinking beers, doing whatever. I start falling asleep, right? And the game was a blowout. So, like, at the third quarter, she's like, yo, if you want to roll, we can roll. I'm like, yeah, let me go take a nap because I'm falling out. She's like, cool. So as soon as we walked out of this bar, it was still sunlight out because the sun don't go out down, till like 8:30. And so all of a sudden it was,
You was wide awake
yeah. So we went and watched A Magician. There was a good show of a magician. He was cool. Yeah, that was it for that night, for that day. Now, the next morning, we're in Skagway or Skagwa.
Okay.
Now, this town is one street for the downtown area, a short street, and it looks like it's straight out of a cowboy western movie.
Oh, that's dope.
The windows, it looks like saloons almost.
That's fucking cool.
You could walk across the street because there's not a lot of traffic. It looks just like a western. Okay.
Okay.
Population in the wintertime for this city is 700 people.
Wow.
It jumps up to almost 2,000 population in the wintertime is 700 because it's too cold.
Right.
In the summertime, it jumps up to almost 2,000, they said, because they got a lot of tourists coming in.
Right.
Because of the port and stuff like that. This was the Husky camp.
Oh, yeah. You got to go
Dog
riding.
sled. We didn't get to go dog sledding.
You didn't get to go?
No.
Why?
Because that was a different package that my sister-in-law booked all these, and she thought she booked dog sledding,
Oh,
but it wasn't. Now, they picked us up and had to take us to this camp. Now, it was a good 20, 30-minute bus ride. At one point, the bus driver said, from this point on, you're not going to get any cell service. It's a dead zone. Okay? And sure enough, I looked at my phone and it didn't even say 5G. It didn't say anything.
Wow.
Not that that's a big deal, but I'll explain to you why I'm saying that in a second. So we get to the dog camp, and what we got to do was they explained to us what dog sledding is all about. Dog sledding races started because snowmobiles were invented. This is like the 60s, 70s maybe.
Okay.
And maybe I want to almost say someone who had a lot of money up in Alaska was afraid that dog sledding would go extinct, and he really liked it. So what he did was made it like a race.
Okay.
That would happen annually to keep that.
Well, it's kind of smart.
Yeah,
That's cool.
to keep that alive. So the first dog sledding race that they did, and it's going like miles. It was they made it the trail that you should take, and it was supposed to last 20 days.
Holy shit.
Dog. When he said that, I was like, what? And one of the rules is the amount of dogs you have when you start, you have to have when you finish. So you can't let them die out there, because then you're going to be disqualified. I don't know if there's a purse involved, winnings
Well,
or
there would
what.
have to be, right?
I would think so. The very first race they did, the person that came in first place took 26 days. Could you imagine out there for 26 days having to take care of yourself, these dogs, for 26 nights?
Well, and you're fighting, what, wolves and pumas,
Everything.
and mountain lions, and
The person who came in last, 45 days.
well, why even come in? I mean, not to be a dick, I'm just saying, clearly, my friend, it's over.
Dog, could you imagine being out there for a month and a half trying to get from point A to point B? Dog.
Well, at some point, you had to look at shit and be like, fuck, I didn't pack enough shit.
Well, now they have checkpoints to where it might take you 2 days to get to a checkpoint.
Okay.
And you could kind of, if something went wrong, you fix it or pick up more supplies, what have you.
Got it.
So they have checkpoints. And they actually say the cities that are the checkpoints, like, they come out. Somehow they get some kind of a warning that a rider's coming in.
Okay.
So they'll actually come out of their businesses and their homes and cheer them on. So that is pretty cool.
Fuck.
Now, we got to see 3 kennels.
That's rough living, dude.
Dog, it's crazy living. We got to see 3 kennels. The first kennel was the retired dogs.
Okay.
Now they weren't fucking with you. They were just looking at you, walking around.
Like, get close, bitch,
Yeah,
watch.
exactly. The second kennel was like the teenagers, if you will, in training.
Okay.
They had this massive hamster wheel that was probably a good 8 feet tall. And it was probably a good, 8 feet in diameter, pretty
Okay.
much. And the dogs were roughhousing each other, And one actually jumped in it, and I was hoping he'd take off running, but he just sat in it. And it actually, like, turned left and right, just from his weight.
Right.
And they were like, once they get on there, and they get going, they'll be on there just flying on that wheel.
Wow.
And then the third kennel were puppies. And that shit was cool.
You get to play with the puppies?
Yeah, they let us, they brought out like 4 of them. And like my old lady and my sister-in-law, they were holding them and stuff.
You wanted one, didn't you?
No, not at all.
Oh.
Not me. Then part of our package was they taught us how to pan for gold.
Okay.
So they had these big wooden tubs of water, dirty-ass water.
Right.
And they gave us these, they were plastic. They look like lids to woks.
Okay.
And so they already had dirt in them. And on the bottom, they had like little fake gold. Like specks, kid.
Right.
Specks of gold. And they were teaching us how you would have to do it back in the day. You go to the tub of water and you pretend, I guess you were in a river.
Right.
And you fill it up with water and you kind of shake it and let that dirt float around. And then you kind of dump it slowly so that dirt goes away. Then you put more water in it. And you do it like 20, 40 times to where you're finally getting rid of all that dirt. And then because the gold is heavier than dirt, so that stays on the bottom.
Right.
I couldn't imagine having to do this for hours, kid.
Right.
And what if you come up empty?
Yeah, but could you imagine back then if you just found one nugget or one, you'd be doing all right. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But could you imagine being out there for weeks and not finding anything because so many people came down for this gold rush?
Yeah, I'd be fucking mad.
Dog. I mean, because it's like we're shaking and shaking and shaking, and you got to make sure not to drop the gold that's actually in there.
Right. Well,
Dog.
they have one where it's a show on the Discovery Channel, and there's one, and the old man just passed away this last year, but he used to go, and they were in Alaska, and there was like waterfalls. So what happens is all the sediment come down with the water,
Right.
and all the gold would fall to the bottom of the pits on the fall of the waterfall, right? So they would get in scuba diving outfits into this cold ass water and submerge with a vacuum. And they'd move some of the big rocks until they got to like the black sand and the bedrock, and then they'd start vacuuming it up.
Oh, wow.
And then so they vacuum it up, and it goes onto this other machine. Then they take out, all the sediment and all the stuff that they got out, and then they do kind of like what you were doing, but first they put it through this other machine that shakes it. And what it does is it's shaking all the big rocks and it's shaking all the dirt and sand, so that by the time you're done, you're just left with the black sand and your gold pieces. So then you take that and you rinse that out into a bucket, and then you take that bucket and you take it over to this machine, and the one that they built is round, and you pour it, and it's putting water through, and it's shaking ever so lightly, and it's shaking all the gold towards the middle, because that's the heaviest part, so
right.
It's moving, and then everything else gets shoved into another outlet at the bottom, so that by the time you're done, you're just left with the gold in there. And these guys are pulling out ounces and ounces and ounces of gold. Like they could pull out, I think I've seen what they do, like 500 ounces in one season. That's a shit ton of money.
I saw a video once not too long ago. A guy had a gold brick. It wasn't very big.
Right.
And he was asking people if they asking people to guess how much it was worth. And it looked like it has a little bit of weight to it.
Right.
Let's say it was the size of...
What about the size of a pack of cigarettes?
No, bigger than that. Let's say your cell phone, but thicker.
Okay.
A lot thicker.
Okay.
Let's say your cell phone, let's say 5 stacked on top of each other.
Well, that's a pretty big brick, dude.
Dog.
And that'd be pretty heavy.
He said it was like $250,000 just for that.
Yeah.
And I was like, holy shit.
Well, gold is at the highest that it's been in fucking 30 years, dude. It's like $2,500 an ounce, and it's not weighed the same way as sand. Like sand is, it's 16 ounces to a pound or whatever it is, right? Gold is not. Gold is measured in penny weight, which is a little bit different. So, but it's a lot. It's more expensive. I believe it's about $2,500 right now. Is about where it's sitting, between $2,300 and $2,500 an ounce for gold. That's huge. Could you imagine?
No, because I was just imagining 4 of those bricks is like $1 million. I was like, man. They gave us, when we were panhandling, they gave us these glass vials, probably a good 2 inches tall.
Okay.
Smaller than a chapstick pen. And it had a cap on it. So they said, fill it up with water, and when you get to your gold, we'll tell you what to do with it. So after shifting and stuff, you find these little tiny flakes, kid. Little flakes of gold. And they're like, okay, now take your finger, make sure it's wet, and touch the gold, and it'll stick to your finger. And then you go to the vial and you open it, and it's got the water, and you put your finger on top of the water, and it'll actually fall into the vial.
Oh, nice.
So those are the vials. And dog, when I say the amount of gold, the fake gold that we had was like so minuscule, it's incredible.
That's not fake.
They weren't giving us real gold.
Why wouldn't they?
I don't know.
Little flake, you're panning for it. I'm sure they charge you a shit ton to go pan for it.
I don't remember how much I paid, but yeah.
I'm sure they're not giving you there's no nuggets in that motherfucker. Like, nobody's going to walk out of there with a golf ball size of, you know what I mean?
Now, while we were doing all this, because again, the panning side and the kennels, and they had like a little gift store.
Okay.
There was like a road that went up a mountain, and trucks would come down and go back up, full of people,
Okay.
customers like us,
Okay.
visitors. And we were like, well, what's that? And they're like, oh, those are the ones that actually go up to see the dog, the actual dogs in action.
Oh, shit.
Right, what we thought we were going to do. Now, obviously we didn't. Now, here's where the no cell service comes into play. That, now my mind is really going.
Right.
When I say going, I'm talking about this.
You want to go see it.
No, about MAGA.
Okay.
This whole thing reminded to me, I'm like, yo, this is a militia out here. They're collecting, they're doing these tours to put money into
what they do.
Yeah, because this is exactly what it looked like to me. Because now I'm starting to look, it's just my own head going, thinking about wild shit. But I'm like, because these people out here, no cell phone service, they only got walkie-talkies.
Yeah.
They're off the grid.
A lot of land for you to get lost in,
A lot of land to get lost in. It's like...
a lot of hungry dogs to feed. Sir.
I'm like, this is a militia camp right here. They're planning shit. When shit goes down, we'll be ready, the way you think sometimes.
Well, these are the motherfuckers that can, that if something happens in their house, they're not going to fucking Home Depot.
Yeah.
They're not going to, they're going to, what's out in the yard? Let's see if we can fucking fix it.
Like when we were in the gift shop, there was 2 people working there, maybe 3. They weren't friendly. They're eyeballing everybody. I'm sure they're eyeballing to make sure nobody's stealing anything.
Right.
But it's still like, again, this is just me. But I'm like, yo, this is some crazy shit out here.
Right. I could see that dude. It'd be like, God damn, these motherfuckers just crazy.
Yes, they are. We eventually go back to the boat after this day, and on our last cruises, you always find a bar that's very high class.
Okay.
They serve like high class drinks. Not like you don't get a beer here. You can, but you're not supposed to.
Right.
This is stuff, you get specialty drinks, whiskeys, stuff like that. Each bar has a name, like Martini Bar, stuff like that. This bar is actually called the World Class Bar.
Okay.
So we got there pretty much when it opened. This bar opens at 5. There was only one guy at the bar at this point in time. And he had gotten this drink that... What is that?
Like a goblet?
More of a glass. It's...
Like an hourglass figure? I think that's a goblet.
Yeah, something like that. They pour stuff into it. There's a name for it. I forgot. They usually put wine in it. It's
a craft.
It's not the word I'm looking for. But okay, we'll go with that.
Okay.
Somehow they're burning some type of a wood, and they put like a brandy in it or a whiskey in it.
Right.
And then now they got a tube in it connected to something that has wood. It lighted up on fire. Now the smoke is going through the tube, going into this goblet.
Right.
Craft. That's what we're calling it.
Right.
And as it's doing now, it's filling up with smoke. And the dude's shaking it to where like that smoke is mixing in with that whiskey. And then when he's done, he covers it so the smoke stays in there. And then he gets his little whiskey glass with his ice cube ball.
Right.
And he's pouring it very slowly. He's pouring it so slowly that the actual smoke is going into the glass first.
Okay.
And as he's slowly tilting this craft, now the whiskey starts to pour in with the smoke. So somehow it's supposed to add the flavor to it, all this fancy mumbo jumbo.
Right.
Look nice, I ain't gonna lie. Okay? So we order our drinks, and now the bar is kind of getting some people. So they whip. Some other people were there. So the dude whips out this contraption again, and he starts making another one of those drinks. So it's this big, country-fed white boy, right?
Right.
So he's looking at it, and he's talking about it. We're talking about it, and I forgot to mention at this point I'm kind of buzzed. Okay, because I found my drink for the night.
Right.
It was a Tanqueray with some sort of almost looked like pink lemonade and some ginger ale. Dude, couldn't taste the alcohol, which is totally me.
Right.
And I was chugging them. All right. So I'm kind of buzzed at this point. So I go up to the dude and I said, as a goof, mind you, hey, is that gonna be your drink? He said, yeah, I'm gonna try that out. I was like, cool. You think I could get a sip? And my old lady's like, I can't believe you just did that.
That's fucking hilarious.
My man said yes. And I was like, oh, man, I'm just fucking with you, because, again, I'm feeling good.
Right.
I'm loose. I'm just messing with you. He's like, no, come on. And at this point, they handed it. He goes, here, take the first sip. And I was like, damn, you serious? He's like, yeah. I was like, cool. And, dude, I'm going to be honest with you. I probably should have ordered one. Had I not found my drink, I probably would have.
Okay.
As you put it up to your mouth to even start thinking about taking a sip, you're getting that smoke.
That smell?
That smell. It smells good. And then as you're drinking it, again, it was smooth. It was smoky. And I was like, that was good. That was really good. So he went away, no biggie. Now the four of us are at the bar with some other people, of course, right at the bar. They have seating behind it,
Right.
But we're at the bar. This is like maybe 4 minutes later. Some older lady to the right who was there during all this ordered her drink, and they were making it. It was something fancy as well. So I think my sister-in-law might have said, hey, that looks good. She was, yeah, I ordered this once in a while, da-da-da. And I said, hey, you think I could get a sip of that? And she said something under her tongue. She's like, yeah, no, that's not happening. So again, I'm catching a pretty good buzz, right? Now, this bar is next to a sushi restaurant that's on the boat.
Uh-oh.
And the sushi waitresses come to this bar for the alcoholic drinks that whomever is ordering in the sushi restaurant. And again, this is a restaurant where you actually have to make a reservation.
Okay.
So at this point, we're kind of hungry. And some old lady's like, damn, we don't have a reservation. It's too bad we can't go to the sushi bar. And I was like,
yeah, we can't watch.
no, not at all, because I don't eat that stuff.
Right.
So they have an app. The boat has an app. It gives you everything you want to do for the day. It has a calendar of events. It has a map of the boat. You could pick the floor. It maps it out. It shows you where all the bathrooms are.
Holy shit.
Yeah, and there's like from floor 2 to 14, I think it is. It's got something on every floor.
Wow.
Including the deck where the pool is and stuff. Anyways, so if you want to see what a restaurant offers for food, you could go to the app and it'll show you their menu. So I'm looking at it. And again, I'm kind of buzzed. So I'm like, oh, pork dumplings. I can eat that. Oh, pork ramen soup. I can eat that. Oh, it's got miso soup. Oh, I can eat that. I said, yeah, we can. I'm down to eat there. So the next time that one of the waitresses comes, my sister-in-law or my wife, she says, hey, you guys got availability? And the waitress is like, well, for when? And we were like, right now. And she goes, let me check. And she goes, yeah, we got a couple of spots open because it was early.
Oh, okay.
So we went. Dog, I had me what is sushi? Japanese?
Yeah.
Let's say Asian. I had Asian food that night.
Nice.
Yeah, kid, check this out.
What kind of sushi did you have?
Oh, I didn't eat the sushi.
Oh.
But yo, I was buzzed. Look at what I ate there.
Oh, shit.
But I took the eggs out. I couldn't do
Oh,
it.
that's the best part, dude.
It didn't look right.
So what I do is I don't like when they're like liquidy like that. The yolk.
Yeah, this is like a ramen soup, I guess.
So I order those packets of beef ramen.
Yep.
Right. So what I do is I get stir fry meat, and I cook that with onion and celery, right? And I cook it in sesame seed oil. So I cook it, make sure that it's all good. Sometimes I add a little almond, sometimes I'll add broccoli, right? So I cook it like that, and once it's done, I pull it out. Or this time I left it in. I left it all together, and I boiled the noodles separately, right? So then once the noodles are done, I empty out most of the water, because I like mine a little soupy. So I empty out most of the water, and then I put that in with the meat that I made, and I add the packets of
Seasoning.
the seasoning from the ramen, right? I mix all that stuff together, and then Sebastian will take his portion. I take my portion out, and then I put lemon, and I'll put sesame seed oil, or not oil, seeds, and some chili on it. That shit is, and eggs, banging, bro.
I couldn't do the eggs, kid. It just did not look right to me.
Oh, it's good, dude. They're still a little raw. That's why. That yellow like that, I can't eat it if it's still creamy.
That did not look right at all.
It's delicious. Make you big and strong.
So the next morning is our couples massage. Okay?
Okay.
Now, this will be my this will be maybe my fourth massage I've ever had.
Okay.
Okay? I think I mentioned this before. It's not my thing.
Right.
Okay? But, it is what it is. So we go to the area where it's a spa.
Okay.
Dude, they got beauty salon, nails. It's near the fitness center. Liquid IV.
Oh, nice.
They shoot you up with they got IV bags, liquid or IV hydrogen or
right.
whatever.
The hydration bags.
Yeah. So it's like this, dude. I'm telling you, this boat is massive. So we're there, and we check in, and we're waiting, and I see dudes walking around in the white robes. And they give you the chanclas with the white chanclas, the real thin sole.
Right.
The furry white above your toes type deal.
Right.
And, I'm not feeling comfortable. So at this point, I'm like...
We could leave right now and I'd be okay.
I could have. So I look at my old lady, I'm like, yo, I said, let me ask you a question. I said, did I want to do this or did you just say we're doing this? And she's like, no, you said you would do it. I was like, yeah, I know, but did I, was I really? I don't remember. When we booked it, I don't remember. I was like, yeah, I'll do it, or was I like, yeah, whatever.
Right.
Because at this point, she's like, yeah, you're uncomfortable. And I was like, yeah, I'm not feeling it. And yeah, I just wasn't feeling it. So they call us back, there's two girls. So they bring us into the room, and there's two massage tables right next to each other. They have us take off our clothes. I left my underwear on. Lay on your back. We'll be back in 10 minutes. Take off, whatever, and get, whatever. So keep in mind, this is like day 4, maybe 5. They just say this is day 4. I still haven't detached from reality. I'm not on vacation yet.
Right.
I'm worried about work. Oh, let me backtrack as to why. At one point in time, one morning, my wife opens up. We wake up. My wife opens up the sliding door. She opens up the curtains. And, dude, you know how it's really windy? You hear the trees, wind going through the palm trees?
Right.
That's all I hear. And, dog, I jumped out of bed. I was like, is it windy? And she's like, no, that's the water. We're the boat's moving. And that's just the water crashing against the... I was like, dude, like my heart jumped out of my chest. And she starts laughing. She's like, you got PTSD from the wind. I was like,
Jesus.
I guess I do, because, dude, I jumped out of bed. I couldn't believe the sound. I was like, oh, my God, it's so windy outside. So they come back in. We're laying on our stomachs. and they ask how hard do you want us to go, all that kind of stuff. So they start massaging me, and again, I'm face down. I'm just thinking about work. I'm thinking about why am I here? I'm just in my head. Again.
Right.
I'm not detached. So they give you the massage. When they start messing with your toes, that doesn't feel good to me because they pull on each toe.
Right.
And then they fuck with your little ankle bone right there. I don't like that. The girl kind of moves my underwear. I wear boxer briefs.
Right.
So she pushes them all the way up. So like her hands are like underneath.
So you were getting a little excited?
No, I was like, oh, hey, slow down. You know what I'm saying? My old lady's right next door. I'm right next to me. Slow it down, because she was getting kind of close a couple of times.
You on vacation? That's what they supposed to do.
They pull your arm out and they stretch it. They're stretching your fingers. Then they put your arm back.
Right.
They do, and then they do the same with the other side. Then they have you flip over. Okay? So we flip over, and they have a towel. They put a towel over your eyes. So you just, and now whatever they did on the backside, they do it on the front.
Okay.
So they start to toes. Again, I don't like it. At this point, I could tell by my wife's breathing that she's falling asleep.
Okay.
So I felt like taking the towel off my eyes and hitting her with it. And be like, yo, you better wake up. This costs some money. You better enjoy this.
She was falling asleep.
I was like, shit, you better wake up.
Relaxed.
Yo, wake up. Okay? But I didn't. Now, they did my body. Now she gets to my head, though.
Okay.
And that's my spot.
Okay.
You scratch my back and scratch my head, dude, I'm in heaven. Okay? So she starts massaging my head, kid. Bro, the next thing I know, one of my snores wakes me up. and I fucking did that, and she's like, welcome back type shit. She's massaging my head, and I was like, holy shit, I can't believe I fell asleep. And so, again, my eyes are closed, and it was one of those,
right.
I woke up. So, this is pretty much towards the end of the massage. Now, she takes my head and she turns it to one side, okay? And then she pulls my arm out and she's holding my hand. So I'm like, why is this girl holding my hand? Right? And then they ring this like really low bell. Ding, ding. And they pull the towel off my eyes. And I'm actually holding my old lady's hand, and we, they do it at the same time.
That's funny.
So it was really cool. I have to admit, the 4 massages I've done before, nothing like that has ever happened. So that was pretty cool. I have to give it to him. Okay.
You thought that girl was trying to do something dirty to you. You know what you was hoping for, you liar.
So I have to admit, from that point on, I was on vacation.
But you're already fucking 5 days into a 7-day cruise.
At that point in time, I was detached. That massage caused me to be detached. So all
right, Miss Pacheco, every time you go on a cruise and go on vacation, day 1, massage. There you go. You heard it here first.
So here's the funny thing. As we were walking away, she was like, oh my God, that was so cute that they had us to hold hands, da-da-da. And I was like, yeah, I couldn't believe it. I was like, why is this woman holding my hand? And she's like, you couldn't tell that was my hand?
Oh,
yeah, kid. After 30 years, you can't tell that that's my hand? And I was like, well, no. I said, did you know it was my hand?
Hey, look, I just woke up from a nap.
And I was like, she goes, I knew that was your hand. And I was like, really? She goes, well, yeah, because you have man hands, and, right. I could tell, but I could still tell that was your hand. And I was like, yeah, I'm sorry. I didn't even know. I had no idea. So, yeah.
Tony fucking it up. Because, baby, even if it was her hand, I was thinking it was yours.
That night, I should start by saying my sister-in-law she had an aunt and uncle that actually was on the cruise as well.
Oh, okay.
So that night, they made plans to go out to dinner with them. So my wife and I had dinner plans alone. So we went to the dining hall, and they sat us down. We ordered drinks. My wife ordered her glass of wine, 9 ounces. And I'll explain why that's important. So they brought her wine. And the way the seating is you're at a table for 2.
Okay.
But they're close to, like, the next table is right next to you of the table for 2.
Okay.
Okay, so there's like a little skinny walkway in between the tables. So we're in the middle table, and there's people on either side of us.
Okay.
And if you went sideways, and if you were thin, you could walk through.
Okay.
Okay. So my wife's drink came. We ordered our food, and the waitress is the main person, but the assistant waiter is like he's the one that brings the drinks and the bread basket and all that kind of good stuff.
Okay.
So he comes with my drink. For whatever reason, he was on my old lady's side.
Okay.
And he squeezed in between. He's got his serving tray with my drink on it, and another drink for the table next to us. So instead of coming up my side and giving me my drink, he went on my old lady's side and squeezed in. Gave me my drink, and he tried to go backwards. And dog.
Spilled a drink on your wife.
Not only did he spill her drink on her, but it was done with such force that the 9 ounces, which is a lot of liquid,
right,
started at her face and went down. It's not like it went on her dress. It went in her eyes, up her nose.
Oh, shit.
To where, like, her mascara was running. You know what I'm saying?
Burning her eyes and shit. So,
the dude was a crazy apologetic.
He should have fucking pushed her head back and said, "You're blessed," and walked away.
Crazy. We understand accidents happen. It's okay. The waitress, she didn't see it happen, but saw, like, the commotion.
Right.
Gave her, like, 6 cloth napkins and an inch stack of the square cocktail napkins.
Okay.
And just gave them to her. Didn't apologize. By this time, the guy he apologized. He went to go get her another drink. The head waiter just gave her this stuff and was just like, and moved on. My wife gets up. She goes to the restroom to clean herself up. The people right next to me are like, "Oh, that's fucked up. You should make them dry clean your clothes. Make them pay for dinner or give you a credit for dinner."
Right.
I'm like, yeah, we'll figure something out. It's okay. Shit happens. No, that's fucked up. You better not laugh at your wife. I'm like, I'm not going to laugh at her. And plus, I didn't think it was funny. I'll be honest with you. Usually I'll chuckle, but no, this was...
It's fucked up.
Yeah. So she comes back and they bring her a glass of wine. It's a little awkward still, because again, on either side of us, "Oh, honey, you should talk to them." Da da da. So my wife's like, "It's okay, shit happens." Da da da. Well, the appetizer comes, and she has to get up and go back to the bathroom because she's still got to fix herself up.
Right.
Now at this point, I realize she still might be sitting in a wet seat. So I get up and I go to her seat. Her chair is dry, but the tablecloth is completely soaked. So I go to the dude, the assistant waiter who actually did it. I said, "Hey, bro," I said, "You think we get at least a new tablecloth?" Now, keep in mind, this is a high-end restaurant.
Right.
Okay, so they're catering to you. There's a maitre d', waiter, assistant waiter. A dude just for taking drink orders. It's nice.
Snazzy, right.
Yeah. So I said, "Bro, you think I can get a new tablecloth at least because it's soaking wet?" You got my old lady eating in a wet tablecloth. Or move us, one of the two. He's like, yeah, I'm sorry. So he goes, talks to the maitre d'. My wife comes back by this time. Maitre d' comes up to me. She says, do you want us to change the tablecloth or you just rather be moved? I said, whatever's easiest. I just can't have her eating with a wet tablecloth. And I'm thinking, why am I having to tell you this?
Right.
And then I think, when it actually happened, why weren't there 3 people fixing
Being
this?
here apologizing.
And let's bring us back to whole. Let's start over, make it seem like nothing's ever happened. But instead, again, the person that actually did it was very apologetic. And again, we understand accidents happen. But yo, when something like that happens, we need 3 people to clean this shit up. Let's get this table back to normal. Get everything dry. Miss, are you okay? Is there anything we can do? Sincerely apologize. You know, whatever.
Right.
We got none of that, kid.
Wow.
So they moved us. They wanted to move us to a different table. We ate. My old lady said when we were done, she's like, look, I'm going to go back to the room, change. Because we were going to go to the club afterwards and stuff.
Right.
So she didn't know this, but I'm kind of fired up. You know, I didn't find it funny. And it was just, I was heated because of, again, there was no care put in.
Right.
So I was like, all right, I'm going to go down to customer service and, you know, complain. Because they got a department of, you know, for customer service. So I went down there, I explained to them, and they were apologetic. Sorry this happened to you. We'll make sure this complaint gets escalated to their department. I was like, okay, just want to let you guys know. You know, because the way we were treated was bullshit. Maitre d' should have been the one that said, sir, sorry, boom, 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 what can we do?
Right.
That's his job. So that night, my old lady comes back down. We go out, do what we're doing. So that night, we get back to the room, and there's a bottle. Keep in mind, hours have passed, and we've been drinking.
Okay.
So we get back to the room. Okay, there's a bottle of wine. There's chocolate covered strawberries on our table, and there's a card for complimentary dry cleaning on the ship.
Oh, nice.
So I'm like, what the fuck is all this for? I didn't know. She's like, because the wine that went all over my dress, that's like probably like their apology. But there was no note. Hey, again, sorry, this is what happened. Please take advantage of this dry cleaning for the outfit. We'll have it back to you within 24. You know what I'm saying? Something.
No,
but
I think most people would think, yeah, just go. Leave, that shit's self-explanatory.
You see, that's the wrong way to think about it. When you're, again, this is higher end stuff.
Oh, so you tell me I don't know how to think about higher end?
With that attitude, yes. Because again, a nice little note. Hey, once again, I apologize.
It would go a long way, but
it will, because again, on Carnival, that's what I would expect. Meaning the Carnival cruise, the booze cruise, that's what I would expect. This place was a lot higher tier. You follow what I'm saying?
Right.
So you get what you pay for in a sense, and we did not get what we paid for there.
No, but you know what? That level of service that they did that for you was consistent with what happened at the restaurant. With just the one waiter saying, "Hey, I'm sorry," blah blah blah. Them just leaving that shit with them. That's consistent with what they did.
True.
So my thing was how could you not go home and be like, "What's this for?"
Yeah, because
you know what I mean?
She was like, because of my dress, I was like,
whose hand was I holding? Like, you know what I mean?
I was like, yeah, that makes sense.
Okay.
But again, it was we didn't want all that. We just wanted the acknowledgement that says, hey, we fucked up. Really sorry about that. You know what I'm saying? That's all we needed.
So the bottle of wine and what do you call it, and the coupon wasn't acknowledgement enough. You still wanted a personal note. I'm just saying.
Yes.
Okay.
Me personally, yes. I didn't need all that. Had, again, at the moment in time, let's get this handled.
Had it been done right from the get-go, none of that would have been
We wouldn't even
necessary.
had to have gotten to where it got to.
Got you. All right.
That's how I roll.
All right.
So that night was the 80s night at the club.
Okay.
It's a trip how when my wife and I first started cruising, we would go to the nightclubs. Because we've been doing this for like 15 years.
Okay.
And then it evolved into going to the nightclubs for like the first hour. Because that's when they played our music. And then it transitioned into younger kids' music. Yeah. So we'd hang out for a little while, dance a little while, and then once that started going on, it was time to go. It just wasn't our crowd.
Right.
Now it's almost like we don't even bother to go because it's that crowd from the gate. The last cruise we did with my daughter, that's how. Remember I told you I was looking for her. There were rap songs and
Right.
people dancing. Okay, well this club was catering to us because we were the young crowd, I guess you could say. So the 80s music, again, he would play. They played like 3 different Whitney Houston songs. They actually played the same one twice.
Oh, wow.
It was kind of like that. It was just,
You're just bad.
yeah. But it was cool. What tripped me out, though, is at one point, my sister-in-law, she goes, yo, why don't you go up to him and say, yo, DJ Paychecks from Palm Springs, you want me to help you guys out? Because, you know, at one point, there was like 3 of the crew members around his laptop trying to figure out what to do.
Really?
Yeah, it was that bad.
You should have gone to their rescue, Tony.
So the last
Some
day,
for your next cruise.
that is true. So the last day, which is Thursday now, we're up to Thursday, we were in Victoria, Canada.
Okay.
For whatever reason, we didn't port until 6 p.m. So we were in Canada. You had to be back on the boat by 11:30 p.m. Okay?
Okay.
So you had, what's that, 5.5 hours?
Yeah.
Beautiful city. Weather was great. The streets were like cobblestone. A lot of the streets.
Okay.
Buildings were big, nice and old, but very nice looking. Flowers everywhere. Dude, it was beautiful. Like I said, the streets were closed off to where you just walk in them.
Nice.
Stores everywhere. Went to a chocolate store, bought my mom some chocolates. Very, very nice. They had dudes in that would run.
Oh, the like the little chariots.
Rickshaws.
Rickshaw.
And they had pedal bikes. Dudes, you know, drive you around. Beautiful, kid. So we found this restaurant. It was like on a corner, and it was like an alley. It was a very wide alley that people were walking. So it wasn't like a street and a side street. It was more like a street and an alley.
Okay.
So we were right in the corner. So we actually ate outside.
Oh,
Right,
nice.
it was almost like an alley. Dude, weather was great. Dude, perfect. Towards the end of the meal, like I'm sitting across my sister-in-law. My wife's to my left. She's sitting she's across from my brother. So my sister-in-law and I, we have the aisle, if you will.
Okay.
All of a sudden, I see her eyes like get big and dart from left to right. And I was like she saw something. And I looked, and I didn't see nothing. And like she's looking at me, she goes, "Is that what I thought it was?" And I was like, "What you think it was?" Because I didn't see it. She said, "I think that was a mouse." I was like, "I didn't see it. I don't know." Dog. Then it popped out again. It's like a little mouse. It was so little that it looked like a gray cotton ball with a tail.
Oh, wow.
But dude, then another one pops out. And when I say pop out, yo, they're coming close to your feet. Like they ain't scared.
Right.
And so we're actually picking up the bags. Some there's other mice now coming out that, like, the people who are, we were kind of like sitting higher than, in a sense, we were part of the building, like, let's say a sidewalk.
Right.
And the alley was a little lower where they had more seating. So people were down there were seeing mice too. And the workers were like, and these are female waitresses walking around like it's nothing.
Wow.
And my sister-in-law even mentioned to the waitress, she's like, yo, you like really comfortable with them. Do you guys actually have names for these mice? Because they're like chilling.
Wow.
So we wound up paying a check. We bounced. We decided to go bar hopping. So we went to another spot, sat outdoors. More mice.
Really?
Kid, it was crazy. And when I say mice, they weren't scared. They weren't rats. Keep in mind, they were almost cute. But they're still mice.
Right.
And they're jumping out of all these little corners. At one point, at several times, we heard like birds like get real loud for like 10 seconds. Like during different times. We actually started to think that was like a bunch of mice like yelling at the same time. Because it was like these squeaking noises. Didn't really know what it was.
Wow.
Like just in the distance.
That's gross.
Dude, it was. I have to admit, I was even like, ugh. And it's scary because, again...
You're not used to that kind of shit.
No, and like, I'm sitting right next to this wall. Dog, one could just like dart across right here and I'm sitting right next to it.
Oh, hell no.
Dog, it was kind of bad.
Yeah, fuck that. So much for it being a pretty city.
Yeah, kid. It's like, yo, you need like a bunch of stray cats up in here. Because it was the norm, kid.
That's crazy.
Well,
at least they weren't like the big fucking raccoon size.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
We wound up going to a nice hotel that was kind of near our bus stop.
Right.
And we grabbed a drink there too, in the lobby bar. And I look over to a side, and there was a younger woman in a black cocktail dress and red high heels, talking to she was like on a date with an older man. And I told my old lady, I was like, that's a working girl right there. And she's like, how do you know? I was like, look.
Come on, right?
Yeah. So we it's funny, we're just eyeballing him all night. And then my old lady finally figured out, she's like, yeah, it is. Because he was like t-shirt and pants, and he was like older.
Oh, wow.
And she was like being lovey-dovey with him.
And she was all snazzied up? Fuck. That's crazy.
And that was pretty much it. We came home. I thought we were coming home Saturday. We actually came home Friday night.
Oh, okay.
And we just laid low for the rest of the weekend because I needed time before I went back. I actually went to work Saturday for a little while, believe it or not.
You sucker.
Yeah, I am.
Well, but I mean, it's your business. You've built it over the years, and got to make sure that it's right?
Yeah. There was a couple of things that came up that I knew I could knock it out fast.
Right.
Instead of waiting another 3 days when I haven't been here for a week and a half, so.
I would have waited fucking another 3 days. They can hold on. Not like they out there swimming right now anyway. Shit. It's too cold.
Dog, what's going on with all this sand?
I haven't been able to feel like I keep telling after all the after all the rain and everything that's gone. I mean, the only thing I can think of is because of all the flooding. Because it didn't rain after it flooded.
True.
Right? So all that it's just sediment on top. And that's why I drive down to Coachella to go to work, dude. It's like driving into fucking Mad Max. Like it's just a big old wall of dust.
When we were coming home from the airport, we were driving north on Landau, which is like the bowling alley.
Okay.
And from a distance, you could see like where Vicicino is.
Oh yeah.
And dog, it was just like brown. And I was like, what's going on? We pull up. Our vehicles just got dirt all over. Our patios just got dirt. I looked at the pool. It's black.
Yeah.
And I was like, what the hell happened out here?
Yeah. Yeah, it's ugly, dude, and it's been fairly windy, so all that shit's just
That Saturday,
compounding.
my old lady got her car washed. Sunday morning,
Same shit,
same
right?
shit.
Yeah. Yeah, my knees to get washed, and I haven't been able to do it because it's like, why go
Yeah.
spend the money to do it?
I'll be honest with you. I came home yesterday, Monday, and I didn't even touch the pool over the weekend. Again, I was just, I'm back. Let me
Right.
rest up in the last couple of days before I go to work. I came home to do the pool yesterday after work. It was windy and there was sand everywhere. I was like, what am I going to do that for?
Wow, that's crazy.
It's bad, kid.
Fuck.
Something we spoke about either on the last podcast or the one before that. Today was the first day I actually did it. Took your advice
On what?
on not using shampoo. I just got my body wash, put it in the loofah. I was hitting my body, and I just said, let me see this. And I just started scrubbing my head with it. And the way my bathroom was set up, I could look through the glass of the shower into a mirror.
Okay.
And after I did it, I looked in the mirror, and I could see my head had suds everywhere.
Right.
So I was like,
All right, this will work.
yeah. So I told my old lady, I was like, yeah. I told her what I did. I said I didn't use shampoo, and she goes, do you still have shampoo? And I was like, yeah. Next time my daughter comes, I'm just gonna give it to her, the shampoo and conditioner. I was like, yeah. I think I'm done with it, kid.
Wow. Does that hurt?
I hurt my feelings.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have to admit, I was really surprised, and I also have to admit, I felt like my shower went a lot quicker
Yes.
because I wasn't scrubbing my head, letting it rinse out, then pouring conditioner, letting that sit while I did everything else, and then made sure I washed it out at the end. I just did it all in one loop
Right.
and rinsed off, and I was good.
Yeah, I'm at a crossroad. Well, so remember I told you I bought that other shit for the hair regrowth? It's starting to come back right here, dude. I can feel it.
You got little baby hairs there?
Yeah. They're right there.
Are you being serious?
Yeah. Like, it's weird. Like, I can feel it when I go like that. Like, my fingers are all the way on there. But
Really?
I go like that. I can feel the hair
Okay.
there. But like, I'm at a crossroads. Like, I don't know if I want to cut this and just go back to having regular hair, because I don't know how to braid it. So I have to wait wait till I go to work, and then the girl that comes in, she comes in at 2:45, and I'm like, hey, would you mind braiding my hair? Which is kind of weird, right? There's a place next door that does hair, but I'll go in there, hey, can you do a trenza, which is a braid in Spanish? They think I want like braids. I just want the one fucking braid out the back. Like,
Right.
Oh no, we don't know how to do that. You don't know how to fucking do braids. So, but then I felt the little hairs right here in my little fucking, where my horns are. And I'm like, I gotta fucking. So I'm either gonna let the sides grow out, enjoy the rest of it, or keep doing it the way I'm doing it. I don't know yet. But I'm gonna do something. I like it. I like having the long hair. Like, there's days where I don't, I don't understand. Like, I gotta have a totally different respect for you ladies. Like, because I can't wake up any earlier than I do to blow dry it. Now that we're getting towards the colder weather, I might be forced to have to do that so that I'm not walking outside with wet ass hair.
Right.
But we'll see how that takes place. And we're like, fuck, I don't fucking dry my hair now. And I was used to just do a little bit of shit and let's go. You know what I mean? Now it's a whole different world, dog.
I did have a little concern though. Remember how I told you I had actually like pretty much
Dry
scratched
scalp?
my hair because I was scratched it with my nails
Oh yeah.
because I didn't have any hair, and I'm thinking, when I did the loofah, I'm thinking, am I scratching my head with it? Because I was being a little bit aggressive with it, because I wanted to make sure it was sudding up and stuff. Well, look, I'm down to a 1 now.
Oh wow.
I just did it because I wanted to see what it looked like.
Right.
But I was like scrubbing. So I'm thinking, damn, I hope I'm not cutting myself with it. But
No, I don't think so. Not
I don't think I'd say.
Yeah, so you'd have to scrub for a really long time to cut your shit with a loofah. You know what I mean? Although the older you get, the thinner your skin gets. So it could be, dude. It could very well be. All right. Before we get going, you have any birthday wishes or final thoughts?
Give me 1 second. Let me see. Henry's wife, Deborah. Her birthday was the 14th.
Happy birthday, Deborah.
You know, I don't like to say ages, so I won't, but it was a big number.
Nice. Fuck. Said it was a big
special.
number. Fuck.
Our buddy Manuel, tomorrow.
Yeah.
Manny. Happy birthday, brother.
Happy birthday.
And, of course, Friday.
His dad.
Big Manuel. Happy birthday, Big Manny. But also, happy birthday, Mingo.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it.
You got any plans?
I think Sebastian is putting something together, so I don't know if he's solidified the plans yet or what he's got going on. But probably just go to dinner with the family, and you know, we don't do presents or anything like that, so we just go and have dinner. So probably do that, and that's about it. I know I'm off till Monday, so I don't go back to work till Monday. I got like 4 or 5 days off, so I got to do something. I'm not gonna be stuck at home for those 4 or 5 days, but gonna figure something out.
Word up.
55. 55 is gonna be a big one.
Why is that?
I don't know, because I didn't do anything. Well, we did big for my 50 because we went out to Manny's, right?
Okay.
But maybe we'll do something. Maybe I'll do it. Maybe I'll throw a party for myself here.
Wow.
At 55, or your house, one of the two. But we'll do something. And again, if you guys are looking to, heal yourselves and have thought about doing stem cell surgery or just want to look into it, Desert Physical Medicine, Alternative Regenerative Medicine, you can contact them at 760-863-5955. They're in Indio. You can go to desertphysicalmed.com. I'm telling you, I walked in 15 minutes in and out. My knee feels great so far, and we'll keep you in the loop as to how it goes as I go on this journey trying to get this fixed. Again, the number is 760-863-5955. Ask for my boy Sky. Let him know that you heard it from the Madhouse Sideshow, and see if they can help you out. Thank you guys for listening. Appreciate it. Love you. Talk to you soon.